In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams. A shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath the fractured sky. These hands once reached for something pure, now tremble in doubt I can't endure. A hollow vessel built from pain, cursed to walk through fire and rain. No salvation, no peace inside. Only echoes of the self I hide. Born from
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indianapolis, Indiana, for tonight's Indy 225. Michael, big track, big history, big dreams. What an exciting event on tap for us here this evening.
Definitely a lot of fun here. Obviously, one of my favorite places to come, the Brickyard. So much history here that we'll try to cover mostly through the night, not try to bore you too much with a history lesson. But, I mean, there's so much rich history, both with the oval guys here in these trucks and also a little bit on the open wheel side if you kind of float that way with no fenders. But a lot of great racing produces out of here, hoping for a good one here tonight.
A good one indeed. It's going to be a very exciting race. You know, long straightaways lead to some very, very exciting corners. Unlike most tracks, when we say turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, Michael, there's actually 4 distinct corners here at Indy. We got the straightaways and the short chute. What is going to be the key for these drivers as they navigate this unique historic configuration?
Yeah, the biggest thing we're going to try to keep our eyes on here is maybe a late dive bomb into those corners, like you said. So Indy by itself is a really big oval. We're going to try to get the track map up here for you and go ahead and get that up. There you go. So you can see right there on the bottom right of your screen, that's the Indy layout right here. So it's kind of a big, huge oval, which really this doesn't do it justice by just how wide those corners are, but they're also really tight on your entries. So the biggest thing we're going to watch in here is if you see at the end of those long straights, they have that big sweeper as you look in the camera view and also on the track map. You can see kind of how tight you have to get that truck down into that corner, and you're going 160 to 180 miles an hour going into that corner. I mean, it's a mix of brake and also kind of just rolling that corner. It's going to be the big focus on going on your entry. And then you hit the short chute, which is one of the most chaotic sections to be in, and you really don't want to be too wide in there. We may see it sometime this race, and it's gonna have to be interesting to watch. It's super tight, nowhere to move, and then it's a quick turn in, set up, and then second up for your next turn out, headed back on that long straightaway, getting ready for the next set of corners.
It is going to be interesting indeed. Such a wide track as it appears, but too wide you do not want to be. So it will be entertaining, to say the least. The guys did a great job in practice here this evening, and they're just wrapping up their drivers meeting. So let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's starting grid. Starting on the pole tonight, we have the 00 of Kevin Winker outside the 85 of Jason Baker. Starting P3, we have the 29 of Jesse Sperling and the 15 of Christopher Hockley. In P5, we have the 12 of Chris Griffin and the 58 of Joshua Baker. Starting in P7, we have the 18 of Jerry McKinney and the 5 of Derek Grigsby. Starting in P9, we have the 62 of Joey Creech and the 21 of Stephen Justice. Starting P11, we have the 14 of Emil Duna and the 1 of Taylor Locklear. Starting P13, we have the 93 of Bert Wojcik and the 26 of Jared Mann. Starting P15, the 2 of Mickey Sundera and the 74 of Brian Torrey in P16. Starting P17, the 3 of Seth Owens and P18, the 51 of Patrick Schaefer. Starting P19 and flanking the field this evening is the number 11, Tyler Spry. It looks like Joshua Robinson also might be a late addition here, so we'll see if Joshua joins the field here at Indy. Obviously, you can see the graphics. We're playing some tricks on you guys there. We promise. It's trucks on the track, as you can see. But Michael, great field turning out here tonight at Indy as we're just starting to wrap up their warm-up session and starting to head off to staging.
Yep, definitely want to go ahead and try to get your mind right here. Definitely going to be a long race. 90 laps on deck for us here at Indianapolis, which we'll go back over once we get a little bit closer here. Trying to get the graphics sorted out for y'all. We apologize for that mishap, trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Obviously, we're going to be in trucks here at not the O'Reilly cars. We're going to try to get everything squared away and set up for y'all to get ready to rock and roll.
Getting ready to rock and roll indeed. Taking a look. Normally we would grab our Duna Electric pole winner, Kevin Winker, this evening. Does not look like Kevin is currently available. So we will try to catch up with Kevin later if we get a chance. But again, great race. 90 laps on tap for us here this evening. It should be a really, really exciting race, to say the least, at such a historic track. So really, really excited for the talent of the HPRL Truck Series to come live here on Veterans and Affiliated Networking from Indy. As everybody's getting squared away, we see the pace truck start to bring the field to life. Michael, these pace laps here at Indy are quite lengthy. Gives you a lot of time to reflect and think about what's going to transpire. First stage, only 10 laps, Michael. But boy, can those 10 laps feel like a long time.
Yeah, with how big this track is, I mean, it's going to feel like a mile. I'm sorry, not a mile. It's going to feel like forever around this racetrack. So much trouble can happen so quick here in 10 laps. You know, you think a lot of these tracks, especially coming off last week, where, you know, it's not so much of a huge track where you don't realize how big Indy is until you start running these laps. These straightaways go on forever. And when you're getting chased by a guy trying to draft behind you, you can't get away fast enough. I mean, it just goes on forever and forever. As you can see, just how long this pace lap's going to be, just how long the straightaway is. I mean, there is just really nowhere for you to go. I mean, it's great if you're behind somebody catching the air because it gives you a while to get that draft, get a huge run built up. But if you're running away from these guys, you're not really going to be able to get away. You're just going to have to hold on and maybe see some aggressive blocking.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Such a great combination of drafting down those long straightaways, but then everything funneling basically to a single line as you head to the corner. It's all going to come to life on your screens here in just a moment as the pace truck is bringing them around turn 4 here at Indy. Pace truck straightens out. You start to see the line that points towards pit road. The pace truck's going to take a hard left. Ladies and gentlemen, the HPRL Truck Series is looking at you right now, coming down the long straightaway. You see the green flag high in the air. Who's your pacer? It's Kevin Winker. We're green at Indy.
Kevin Winker going to be your leader here at the start of this race. Let's see if he's able to hold on to it. We're going to watch him ride off here to turn one, that big, tight corner we talked about. Too wide still for most of this field. Let's see as long as they get mostly through here clean. You can see that little short shoot. You got to then, as soon as you get in it, kind of settled in, you got to set up for this exit right here. He's going to try to throw some dirty air on the nose of the 85, and Jason Baker right there does so. And now he's got to go to work. He's got to fight hard, trying to get the air off the nose of the 85. He doesn't want him to draft, and you see Jason's going to draw up to him and see if he's chasing the 3 here. He's not. He's going to back out, got tight. Reset. He's going to try to maybe save it up out of 4 here and then maybe try to make a move. Either that, he's just going to be patient. He's going to take his time, take care of those tires like we always talk about here. At a flat track, it's really going to eat him if you go trying to push here. You don't want this truck to be tight, and you really don't want to get them loose with how flat it is. It's real easy to get it to spin. As you can see right behind these guys, everybody's single file trying to make time in the draft. You treat it almost like a super speedway. You want to be as close as you can, single file, to try to not lose the guys ahead of you.
All of that just wraps up lap number 1 here at Indy. Kevin Winker still out in front of the field as you see them single filing out for the most part. Like you said, you have to go back to about P7, P6, where you see Steven Justice and Derek Grigsby starting to battle there just at the top of your screen. All of this behind Kevin Winker, towing Jason Baker down the backstretch. It's a battle. The two of them have about a dozen truck lengths on Jesse Sperling hanging out back there. Here you go. You see the battle. You see them going side by side. Joshua Baker, Christopher Hockley, trucking it around the bottom side here at Indy as they come off of turn number 4 and head down that straightaway to complete the second lap.
Yeah, great racing so far this year. Everybody's still single file. You get a great view right there. You can see everybody single file line. They are not going to let these leaders try to get away from them. They're going to try to stay close with these guys. And as I say that, Kevin Winker is still being followed by Jason Baker, who just put up the fastest lap of 53.992. Still chasing down the 00, but he's going to be a lot faster than him on these straightaways because of using that draft. And he's looking to the inside here. The 00 got loose. As we see, Jason Baker's not going to have his shot there side by side. Your leaders side by side going here into turn 3. Winker in the better spot being on the inside. He's going to have the preferred group going into this corner. Let's see how far Jason sends it in there, rips it around the outside of the 00. Let's see if he clears him here. He not quite clear. Yeah, the 00 is going to try to get there, get back underneath, and the 85 just puts a foot to the floor and ropes it around the outside. Jason Baker to the point. Your new leader as they come around here for lap 4.
Jason Baker now on the point after giving some aero love to Kevin Winker, heading off into the corner. They get it straightened out. It goes single file. Our top 5, 6 trucks, all single file as we're trucking through the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're going to drop back and take a look here. The battle starting to pick up around P10. Steven Justice doing battle farther in the pack. You see him right now, side by side. Jerry McKinney there right with him. The two of them dueling it out as they go down the straightaway. Moving the draft around. Here we go. McKinney looking to the bottom side now under Justice. He's going. He's got Joey Creech with him. The two of them, bottom side. Steven Justice up high. Gives McKinney plenty of room. McKinney right along that bottom white line. Wrapping the corner. Drifts it up. Still side by side as they head through the short chute. And heading off into turn 4. McKinney, Justice, side by side. Justice dropping back just a little bit. He's going to have the preferred groove with the draft. McKinney pulling. Everybody else in tow with Justice. Coming down the straightaway here on lap number 4.
Yeah, it's a hard part of being at this racetrack. It's hard to get a true advantage. You know, you think you always want to be on the inside. Ooh, a little bit of a contact there between the 18 and 21, trying to maximize all that entry into the corner, trying to get the run as best as he can. Not able to clear him. Actually loses ground to the 21. 21 takes that outside line. 3 wide, maybe not behind him, not quite. Sundera thought about flashing out there, but he's going to stay behind, 2 by 2 behind them with Jared Mahone back here. But as I was saying, Jared McKinney lost a little bit of ground to the outside of these turns. I really didn't think was going to be that effective here early in this race. I thought that maybe it was going to be a little too loose, but with the tires coming at temperature, I think they're able to make it work. They're able to, you can see them able to pinch those cars on the bottom and be able to get the run in the middle of that corner and take it up to the fence and also get the draft down the straightaways when they come out of these corners.
It's getting excited, and we drop back just a little bit. We can see Burt Wojcik in the 93 and Jared Mann. We're fighting side by side. Still some battles at the back of the pack. Here they go off into the corner. Again, you see Justice, McKinney, Creech rolling along. Duna in the mix now as well. And just behind them, you can see that battle of Burt Wojcik and Jared Mann fighting side by side. It might be for P12, but right now, every position matters, especially as you're trying to get in the draft. Side by side, you see Mann get in front. Mickey Sundera also gets around. Burt Wojcik stuck up on the high side. Taylor Locklear underneath. And here comes the 74 Brian Turey, all taking advantage of that slight slip up. All this, again, happening just outside the top 10, but every position matters as we start to battle towards the end of the stage. We're halfway through this first stage already, but these straightaways are long. The emotions are going to be even longer as this goes further along. Great battles all this way through the field. All of this happening behind your leader, Jason Baker, who now has a half a second lead over Kevin Winker.
Yep, Kevin Winker and Jason Baker still pulled away from this group. You see Jesse Sperling still biding his time back there in P3. He's going to take care of the truck. We watch on here a little bit of a battle between the 12 of Chris Griffin and the 5 of Derek Grigsby back here for P6. These two still trying to figure that part out. You see Griffin up on that higher line we've been talking about. A little bit of a wiggle there out of the corner, but he's able to hold on to it. He's going to start making ground on his way out.
Making ground, every little bit counts. You got to use the draft when you can and make moves at just the right time. But, Mikey, you talked about it. You also have to save tire. It doesn't seem like this would be a track that eats the tires, but if they go away, those corner entries get extremely tough. And this is where we're going to start to see the field separate itself. Again, only a 10-lap first stage, but you're going to start to see the differences of who's pushing hard on those corner entries and who's hanging on to it. Again, it might also come down to the fact of that high line. How long can that high line remain effective? As you see Stephen Justice get a little bit loose through the corner there, that's how quickly things can change. Will Jerry McKinney be able to capitalize? We're about to find out. He backs off heading into the corner, eases on those tires, really focusing on that corner exit. He gets the run, gets the draft to Stephen Justice as they head down the straightaway.
Yeah, these two have been all around each other for most of this race so far. The 21 of Justice, the 18 McKinney, they continue to kind of dance with each other, as you'll say, as they go around this 2.5 mile oval, just not really able to separate themselves. And as you look behind them, Duna, and I believe that's the 62 of Creech. It is. Creech is also caught back up with this group. Duna got a little arrow tight right there, actually off the back end of McKinney. Actually had to check up a little bit there, but these two behind them are trying to make up a little bit of ground. And I think they're actually starting to close in on Grigsby, who's ahead of them with Griffin, who's starting to catch up to, I believe that'll be the 15 of Christopher Hockley up here. It is. That's the 15 machine of Hockley right there. The Jiffy Lube truck hanging out there with the 12 and the 5 running them down.
All of this happening for those all-important stage points. But meanwhile, out in front, as we're nearing the end of the stage, Jason Baker, Kevin Winker has cut that lead down to 0.3 of a second. Almost chopped 0.2 off as they're ripping around here trying to wrap up this first stage. What great racing these guys are putting on here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Front to back, battles everywhere, using up every inch of the corners. We see Winker start to close it on Baker as we're heading to the end of the stage.
Winker starting to roll in back onto Jason Baker. Maybe Jason may have pushed a little bit too hard. You see them both give the wall a little bit of a kiss there. Coming up. Oh, spinner behind. Chris Griffin goes around. Oh, big hit. Oh, we may have a big old wreck back here. Hold on.
Big hit for Chris Griffin. It looks like the rest of the field was able to avoid as he shot back up the track. It looked like off that pit entry wall. Hate to speculate on what happened. We'll have to watch the replay here in a moment, but a big hit for Chris Griffin.
Try to see if we can get a little bit further back here. Ride with the 12 of Chris Griffin here. We're going to try to see if we can get a good look. We're going to see him drive off here into turn 3, trying to set up, running back down. Chris Hockley there in the 15 machine. He's been doing well. Oop, looks like he blinked for a second here. Looks like he blinked for a second. We'll see when he comes back, if he does. Maybe a little bit of assistance off the nose of the 5. Let's see if we can catch a view from the right along with the 5. Let's see if maybe he can stay with us the whole way through here. Let's see if we can get a view. Here we go. We're going to ride board here with Derek Grigsby in the 5 machine. Let's see if we can catch a view of what happened here. You see the 12 disappears right there. Maybe a little bit of a blink right there. Let's see when he reappears. I think the 5 maybe gets into him when he reappears. Let's see. Right. Yeah, I think Griffin disappeared and maybe have blinked, and as soon as he came back, he just glitched into the nose of the 5 there. I don't think Grigsby really meant to get into him. I don't think he knew he was there. You could just see the 12 kind of just disappear right there. We're going to ride into the cockpit here. Still on board with Grigsby. You see he's gone right there. He has no idea where he's at. Now Chris is still running his own race. He may have a message saying that he has network difficulty for the moment, but he's still racing, and then you can just see he'll reappear right there, and he just disappears and fades over there. So maybe not contact, maybe he just got loose, but he definitely disappears. Maybe a little bit of a lag there, Troy.
That is a very, very unfortunate set of circumstances. Indeed, and all that happening at high rates of speed, right, Michael? You can't afford to lay off if you're Derek Grigsby. If you lay back not knowing if Chris Griffin's going to reappear or not, you lose the draft in front of you. So you have to keep going, and unfortunately, when you try to time those things out, sometimes it just doesn't work out in your favor. And for Chris Griffin, just a unfortunate spot to get caught in. And the end of pit road is not where anybody wants to spend 170 mile an hour break in the stage.
Definitely not, especially this early in the race. We're going to watch on with pit stops here. A good view of the race off pit road. Winker in the best spot to get off. First one in the pit. It's going to be a race between him and the 85 and Jason Baker right here in front of your screen. See Winker down and away. Catch on. A little bit, few more racing back here. Make sure we keep a nice clean pit road as they all exit here. Everybody rolling off pit road. I believe your winner off pit road may have actually been the 85. He may have jumped. We'll have to wait and see when they start getting settled back in. Jason Baker may have took it away from Kevin Winker there off pit road.
I believe Jason Baker took our stage win there. So all that excitement, that was the end of stage 1. So that does mean Jason Baker is the Vickers Auto Parts Stage 1 winner, and we'll see if we can actually grab Jason here real quick. Jason Baker, it's Troy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Jason, 10 laps in the book just like that. You couldn't see the excitement that happened behind you that ended that stage, but it was a heck of a ride for one of your competitors. How are you feeling out there through that first stage?
It's just save the right front and the right rear primarily. I think Kevin's got about the same mentality that I do, and Jesse seemed like we pulled away from the rest of the pack. So all in all, should be another good stage here coming up, maybe.
All right. Well, it's a heck of a way to start the race here at Indy. So best of luck the rest of the way, sir.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, your Vickers Auto Parts Stage 1 winner, Jason Baker. And Vickers Auto Parts. Vickers is a business of Jesse Sperling's granddad, Bub Vickers. Started up in the 50s. New and used parts for all makes and models. Priced as used, good as new. Located at 914 South Alabama Boulevard, Highway 221, Chesney, South Carolina. And most importantly, they ship anywhere in the country. Call them at 864-461-2621. Vickers Auto Parts, your stage winner sponsor. All right, Michael. Deep breath. Feel the side by side. Heading down the long straightaway. We're getting ready for stage number 2. Little bit longer this time around. What do you think the drivers learned in that first stage?
Well, obviously the leaders kind of had their work cut out for, not so much cut out for them, but they had their plan set in stone. They were going to try to take care of tire, which is what we usually try to stress here. A lot of the way they do the sessions, a lot of the way this racing goes, we have a lot of green flag, clean racing. So you got to take care of tires. You got to be able to have that speed late in runs to make move and go catch guys, and don't push yourself. Don't put yourself in a bad spot to where you can't advance at the end of it. We see a lot of these guys. We've seen Jesse do it before. Hockley's done it before. Jason done as well. These guys kind of just, they're okay with maybe giving up a spot or two because they know maybe they can get it back. They don't want to put themselves in a bad spot because somebody else may be pushing a little bit harder. So obviously we got a little bit longer of a stage here, a lot more tire conservation to deal with. Now the question is do they turn up the wick in? I still think it's early. I don't think anybody's really going to go too aggressive here in stage 2. Maybe towards the end of the race we will, but we'll see if they're able to hold on to the clean racing we've seen so far here today.
Clean racing indeed. The field comes out of turn 4 down the straightaway. You see the pace truck drop in. The title sponsor of the HPRL Truck Series in Season 6 is Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg at Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, and they have the field all greased up as we go back to green here in Stage 2.
Greased up, slide up, and there he goes. The 85 is going to pull away, going to go ahead and get up on that high line, get the apex he wants, turns in right here into turn 1. You see Winker tied on the door. Jesse Sperling gets a hair tight right there. Had to come off a little bit off the exit there. Same thing. Winker's going to clear the 29 here, maybe at 2. I thought he was, maybe not. Going to be side by side. Jesse's going to fade in line. There we go. Sperling fades in line. A little bit further back, though, we see some more action going on. Looks like the 18 McKinney once again down to the bottom. The 2 of Sundera is going to look under there as well. But still your leader as they roll into 3. The 85 of Jason Baker.
Jason Baker out in front. Kevin Winker in tow. Jesse Sperling in 3rd. Christopher Hockley 4th. Derek Grigsby 5th. All the front trucks, again, single file, using that draft, using the preferred line through the corners, through the short chute. As we start to see guys ducking out, making it look tough place to be when you're the only one and everybody else is in tow. Snaking back and forth, everybody back in line as they head off into the corner. Jason Baker on point. Kevin Winker just a shade lower getting into the corner, but Baker, a strong run coming off the corner as they head through the short chute and off into turn number 2. Baker out in front, Winker basically in tow. This time Sperling gets a little bit lower, tries to grab some of that fresh air, and Hockley sitting back in P4, just waiting for a chance to dive into the action. All these guys, again, biding time. We're running to lap 35 here at the end of stage number 2, so we won't even be halfway into the race when this is done, but they're going almost twice as long as they did in that first stage, and the timely caution. Again, Jason Baker out in front as the field flashes on by.
You'll see these guys are moving and grooving around here. There's a lot of these guys still in single file. We've seen them kind of be nice, play nice with each other. You can see a great view right there. Everybody single file, not going to let it side by side ruin. You see a little bit right there near the back of the back, maybe trying to shade inside, going to try to get set up for the entry here into turn 1. But for the most part, everybody in single file. Not too bad of dirty air yet. You know, beginning of these runs, your tires aren't too hot. You know, we've mentioned dirty air every once in a while when you put the truck in front of another one to try to take the air away. And you can still see a little bit of creativity with the lines. But the biggest thing here is there's not really much you can tweak with the lines. The fastest line through Indy is kind of almost what we call the diamond. Usually when we go to short tracks or other mile and a half. So we said the diamond technique where you try to, you enter flat here, get that wide apex out to the wall, and then pull it right back down. That's the fastest way to get around Indy. You really got to get as much of it in as you can and then get the same thing going out. Get that middle point there by the fence and try to time it out there on your exit. But we watch it over and over again here. These guys have been mostly single file. You see McKinney flashing a little bit there, trying to get maybe a little bit of a draft, maybe go try to make another move on the inside. Right now we have a 5-car breakaway out here in the front. Baker, Winker, Sperling, Hockley, and Grigsby, all 5 of them starting to pull away. Ooh, you saw Grigsby got a little tight there, got a little bit away off the fence there. But the biggest thing is just keep watching. You know, we still have a lot more run left in this race, so maybe watch more for the back. I see Sundera, Sperling back there, or not Sperling back there. I'm sorry, McKinney back there. We still see the 26. We haven't mentioned his name yet. Jared Mann back there. We know he likes to take his time in a lot of these races. Maybe he's biding his time on this longer stage. Maybe see if these guys up here in the front put themselves in the best spot.
Get up in front to the top 5. Have put a little bit of a gap on Joshua Baker back in P6. Again, nose to tail for the most part. A little snaky as they go down the straightaway, but no aggressive moves. Everybody trying to buy time. Michael, if there's one thing I know, it's you can't pass anybody if you stay behind them. It will be interesting to see how long these guys are willing to wait it out. It is only stage number 2, but you never know when the moment is. We see right there a little bit of a bobble from Hockley. Gathers it up. Grigsby gives him room to get back in line. They stay in tow, give up a little bit of gap to the Vickers Auto Parts machine of Jesse Sperling in 3rd. So now we got 3, 2, 1, and a gaggle of trucks behind them.
Yeah, these guys trying their best to keep it rolling right here. The bad part is for Hockley, you don't want to slide it at all, because if you do and it gets those rear tires hot, it's only going to get worse. Because if you go try to push anymore, try to make up some time you had, then you're going to be at the risk of maybe trying to spin it out and get it loose, and you're going to be drifting out of 4 instead of driving out of 4 if you get them too hot.
Well, there are dirt tracks in Indiana as well, so a little drifting around the corner, throwing it sideways. It'll be all right, but the tires might not like it, like you said. Again, all these guys clicking away the laps right now. Maybe just taking a deep breath. We're only on lap number 19, so we got a long ways to go. That first stage felt like it was over in the blink of an eye, but there's still a lot of racing left. As we take a look back here through the field a little bit, you see the 18 of Jerry McKinney, the 21 of Stephen Justice. You see Emil Duna back there in the Coca-Cola machine. Jared Mann biding his time. He told us last week that he isn't really excited about Indy. Hasn't had great luck here. We'll see if that misfortune in the past can change here today. Joey Creech, we saw him battling up front a little bit earlier, tucked in with this pack that's on your screen right now. A lot of single file. As you see McKinney taking a little bit higher line. Justice towing 3 of these trucks behind him as we're clicking away on lap number 19.
Yeah, you see these guys been really patient with each other, and I think this pack right here, the 18, I was going to try to run down Joshua Baker ahead of him, try to get up there with that front pack. He's actually starting to close back in on Jesse Sperling in the front 3. But as we continue to watch on here, I think they see Jared back here. Jared is always hanging around, takes his time. He doesn't push the truck. I think Duna, Justice, and as you said, Creech back here. Ooh, Duna got tight there. I had to bounce off the wall there for a second. As you see, Jared Mann actually checked up, so he didn't run him over. That's going to open up the door for Creech. Let's see if Creech plays nice, just puts the bumper back there to the 26 and catches everybody back up together. But the battle I've been liking to watch for most of this early in this race has been the 18 to 21. You see Jared McKinney's actually pulled away from Justice a little bit. These two have continually just keep trading with each other around here. As Creech now, as I say that, looking to the inside of Jared Mann. Let's see how this goes. Jared going to power it up there on the outside and get the run off. He's going to try to catch that draft to get back up there with the 14 of Duna ahead of them, who is closing in on the 21.
Closing in as we're watching this battle. Don't worry, you're not missing anything up front. Jason Baker still pacing Kevin Winker out front by about a quarter of a second. They're pretty much in tow, and it's about another 0.2 of a second back to Jesse Sperling. Top 3, top 4, top 5, unchanged. As we watch this battle a little bit farther back, Stephen Justice up high. Here we go. A battle brewing in front of us as they head down the straightaway. What a great shot watching these trucks fly around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The history. Chat, we see ya. Yeah, we're waiting for Duna to answer the call as well. A lot of cheering out there for Duna and a lot of shout outs to the paint scheme. These guys not only driving good, they look good as Duna gets in front of Justice.
Here we go. Duna able to make the pass, and on the moment of the paint schemes, you know what Deion Sanders always said: when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. I am one of those that also, if I feel like I like my paint scheme and feel like I look good, it adds just another little bit of swagger to you there in that truck to make you feel a little bit better as you go out there.
You know who's not playing right now? Kevin Winker. He's starting to close in less than 0.2 to Jason Baker now. We might have a battle brewing for the lead here in a second. We'll see if it can match this battle that we're watching a little bit farther back in the pack. Chat shouting out Sperling. Keep it safe, Sperling. I think that's the focus of all these guys right now. How do they keep it safe? How do they have the truck? As you watch Jared Mann dive in underneath Stephen Justice. Justice doesn't put up a fight. Mann takes the spot.
And as Mann gets the pass done there, Jesse Sperling's going to get past Winker up here in P2, so he is now going to be the one to go chase down the 85 of Jason Baker. Jesse Sperling able to get around the 00 right there. Great battle is now starting to shape up. As you can see, he's a little bit ahead. We'll try to see if we can get that graphic adjusted for you. And we also want to apologize for earlier having the numbers wrong. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Got that reset for y'all, so now we got that back up and rolling like it's supposed to be. But as we watch on, the 29 is going to take the place of the 00 in the chase to go get that 85 of Jason Baker, and he is up to a 6/10 gap ahead. He's going to try to keep it there and keep running as far as he can, but with the draft, they should be able to start reeling him back in and start to catch him here.
Just as Winker was closing in on Baker, there was a shake-up, and Sperling said, I'll take P2, and now Sperling is chasing down Baker. As again, we look through the field, you take a good look here at these great trucks. Joshua Robinson, again, getting in just under the gun for this race. Started shotgun on the field in P22 up to P15. Now he's got a battle brewing here with the 93 of Burt Wojcik. Oh, loose the corner, saves the truck, gets back in line. Hopefully he can catch the draft. No harm, no foul. We keep green racing here at Indy.
A great save there for the 3 of Seth Owens with Wojcik there underneath him, able to hold on to it. The three machines still rolling, still holding on. Definitely a little more action than what he was looking to see. Trying to look on through the field here. A lot of these guys, like we said, still single file, still playing nice. But once again, we look up here at the front. You see Creech, Man, the 21 of Justice, and now Taylor Lockley are starting to put his hand here in the game. They're going to be maybe too wide here going into turn 3. They will be. Justice underneath Jared Man here. Ooh, Steve, I think got a little loose there, actually. I think, yeah, actually had to back at it, but a little bit that way he didn't get up there until the 26. We'll see if he tries to slot in the groove here behind Locklear. Nope, Locklear is going to hang tight there on the outside. Justice starting to lose, going to lose 2 spots, may lose another if Sendero is able to close up the gap between them. There we go. We'll see Justice slip back in the line there. Not going to lose too many more spots there. He'll sit behind the 1 of Taylor Locklear as they rattle off here in turn 1. I'll bring him down to P12, Locklear up to P11, Jared Mann rounding off your top 10 right there in 10th, Joey Creech P9, Duna in 8th, McKinney 7th, Baker 6th, Grigsby in 5th, Hockley 4th, Winker 3rd, Sperling 2nd, and they're all running down the man of the hour, the 85, Jason Baker.
All chasing Jason Baker as we watch the battle throughout the field. Less than a handful of laps to go in the stage. Just like that, clean and green is how we want to be. And these guys are clicking them off one by one as you see Sendero starting to close on Justice. Michael, one of the things that's so important at this track, everybody wants to get to the corner fast, but it's all about setting up that straightaway speed. How much do you have to give up getting in order to set up that exit on these long straightaways?
Well, you approach it differently. So let's play the role game. So if I'm right here, if I'm in Mickey Sendero's seat, you are obviously going to have to do a little bit of dirty air going into the corner. So you already have to try to alter your line or your entry to make it to where you're not going to catch them in the middle of these apex, these corners where that truck's going to get tight. You have to get on the gas. And you saw a little bit right there. So what you have to do is you almost have to back it up a little bit. So what we're doing is backing up the corner. We're going to get off the throttle a little bit earlier. We're going to lose maybe some entry speed. But what we're going to do is we're going to be able to get fully on the gas as we're going to look inside. So Dara thought about going to the inside. Justice got tight. He slid up. So they're going to be side by side here in the short shoot. Let's see if Sendero is able to clear here in a turn 4. He will. The 21 of Justice back on the throttle hard, trying to not let him get away from him. Let's see if he's able to get the draft. That should clear the 2 free and away. Sendero's going to get the pass done. Justice now actually looking maybe to the inside. I think he pulled out a little bit early there. Needs to stay behind him a little bit longer, try to get a little bit closer before you try to shade and maybe go for a dive into that corner. But to finish your question short, excuse me, what you do is you just back up the corner a little bit more. So we're going to take throttle, we're going to take our speed out of the entry, and what we're going to focus on putting our throttle later in this corner. So we're going to watch on here, try to see if we can time it up along with what I would feel like a lot of these guys are going to try to do, playing with the dirty air and with older tires as well. If you heat up those fronts, it's going to be hard to get the car to turn. So we're going to let off early. You can see the fire out of the pipes next to the 21. He's actually held on the throttle. And then right about, not yet, about here, maybe 3/4 of that, you're just going to get on it. You're not going to roll onto it. You can really stab on the gas and help it rotate that truck to get as much of a run as you can out of that corner and try to get as much as a draft as you can to try to get that guy ahead of you.
Trying to get that guy ahead of you. We need to jump back up front. Jesse Sperling made a dive for the lead. Lost second position to Kevin Winker in the process. Now the 2 of them are trying to work together to reel back in Baker. Sperling went from a lead move to a 3rd place tow line as they head down the straightaway. He's back outside of Winker going down the straightaway. Here they go. They're going to fire it off to the corner. Winker on the inside. Sperling on the outside. Sperling, a little bit of an edge. Winker tucked back in line as they head off into the corner.
Yeah, Winker playing nice. I think he thinks Jesse may be a little bit faster. Maybe didn't push those tires as hard. So he's going to let Jesse kind of lead this train to go try to run back down Jason Baker. He's like, you know what? That's fine. I'm going to help you as much as I can, give you the air and try to give us a draft to go run him back down. Jesse says, I appreciate it. You know, he thinks he's faster, and if Winker's going to be nice enough to give it to him, Jesse's going to happily take it, and they're both going to try to work together here to go run down the 85 of Jason Baker.
Working together, trying to chase down the leader. While that was going on, you guys saw the battle a little bit earlier with Steven Justice. He let the other drivers know his tires are shot. So all of that work that he was doing back in the pack when we were watching that battle, he cooked his tires. So now he's just trying to hang on for the last couple laps here in the stage. Jason Baker, Jesse Sperling, Kevin Winker, your top 3 as we come towards the end of the stage.
Jason Baker has been nice high and clean for most of the stage. A little bit of attack we saw from we had Sperling make, wasn't able to capitalize on it, but he's starting to reel him right back in again. The gap's about 3/10. He still has 6 laps to go and make that move, try to put himself in the best spot. His Winker's actually fallen off a little bit. Maybe Jesse maybe pulling closer with the draft at the 85. He's trying to make up ground and stay with Jesse. That way, if these two maybe get side by side, that now gives the 00 an option to where he can choose who to help, or maybe if he wants to go 3 wide down the backstretch.
Everybody falls in line behind Jason Baker. Whoa! Sparkling getting loose off the corner into that short chute. Great save. Didn't lose a ton of ground, but lost some momentum as he tries to get back in that toe and get back into that draft as they head down the long straightaway. All this coming to wrap up stage number 2. Excitement front to back, but these top 3 are really holding it down so far here in stage number 2 as Baker takes them into turn number 3.
If Jesse Sperling got a little bit of a wiggle there, he's trying to really load up that run and try to get as much as he can to go run there. You see him fade a little bit higher. He's going to try to get a little bit more speed in that corner, try to get some more of the draft at the 85 and bring him closer. You can see just how close he gets to that wall right there. He's trying to get everything he can. It's still holding strong at 3/10 there for the 85 of Jason Baker, trying to hold on and keep rolling here and click this stage win. We'll see if he's able to. Watching on here. Jesse Sperling still P2. Winker actually closed the gap a little bit of Jesse. Maybe slid those tires, made him a little upset. Still trying to close on as fast as he can. They're trying to keep him in his distance. We look back, race for top 10. Jared Mann rounding out your top 10. Under a little bit of pressure there from the one of Locklear. Jared really has it. We kept waiting for him maybe start making his run. Obviously, we know he said he wasn't maybe the greatest fan of here at Indy, as a lot of these guys we've heard mostly this week. Not a huge fan of the Indy Oval here for a lot of these guys, which it's a very niche track. I feel like it's a high speed flat track. It's one of those rare combos that you get where you don't have a lot of banking to play with, but it's so fast and so minimal margin for error.
Minimal margin for error as you see Jared Mann. He ducks to pit road before pit road closes. Maybe a little strategy call here, Michael, taking an early pit stop on this long 2.5-mile track. As up front, you see the battle for the lead heating up. Jesse Sperling's reeled back in Jason Baker, and Baker is under attack.
Ooh, Baker's under attack. Yeah, you saw Jared Mann dive to pit road there. Jason's in trouble. I think Jason maybe slid a little bit, got a little tight there. He's under attack. He's actually able to pull away a little bit there, but Jesse's not going away. Let's see if Jesse goes for a dive here in turn 3. I don't think he's close enough yet for it. He shades for it, trying to get Jason to look in his mirror and see him there. You see him close there. Don't hit that wall, though. Make sure you keep it out of the fence. You want to keep that truck clean for the end of the race. But he's giving everything he's got. Jesse Sperling, heck of a run there. But yeah, Jared Mann, a little bit of a slide there, able to hold on to it. That's going to bring Winker to the back. We're going to see Grigsby dive to pit road. You see that right there on the right side of your screen. Derek Grigsby slipping on pit road. Let's keep an eye. Maybe we may have a speeding penalty. No, pit road just closed. I'm sorry, we're not going to have anybody else go to pit road as the pits are now closed with the leader coming with 2 laps to go here in this stage. But as we watch on still, Jesse Sperling trying to regroup that truck and try to get it back towards the bumper at the 85. Winker goes way wide. He's going to get some wall contact there for the 00 on the wall. Let's hope he didn't hurt that truck too bad, but that still leaves Sperling in the 85 of Jason Baker. Manu here with 3 laps to go in the stage, or 2 laps to go in the stage, excuse me.
Watch Jason Baker and Jesse Sperling. Just in front of them is Jared Mann. He made that pit strategy call. Can he stay in front of the leaders? This is going to be really important, Michael, to try to stay in front of them so he can get caught back up and not have to take that lucky dog. I think he's going to have enough to... maybe he had a speeding penalty. He's back to the pit road as Jason Baker brings Sperling down the straightaway. Should be 1 lap left in the stage.
That's what I was curious. I'm curious to see if the Grigsby had the same as well. I saw him get that truck dancing as he went into pit road. Maybe we'll have to see if he has a speeding penalty as well. But our eyes up on the front. Jesse Sperling's right there. He's going to shade underneath the 85 here in turn 2. He's going to try to get the power down. Oh, it's so close. Jesse Sperling's right there. Is where he needs to be. He's going to set up here for turn 3. Oh, no, he got a little bit of the wall. He lost the momentum. Let's see if he can gather it back. He's going to go for a dive. He's going to go for the stage win here in turn 3. Don't do it yet. Not yet. Trying to hold on to that run as long as he can. Get every bit of speed. Not enough here. He's going to got 1 more shot here out of 4. He's going to have that long straightaway. to go get that start finish line. Let's see how he charges it up. Here we go. A little bit of a tight air there. 85's going to throw the air. Let's see if Jesse's able to get the run he needs. I don't think so yet. He needs to be right behind him. Don't shade him yet. Stay behind him. Get the air. I don't think he's going to have to run. Nope. The 85. Jason Baker is going to get your stage 2 win. Holding off the 29 of Jesse Sperling, who was coming in a hurry.
Jason Baker and Jesse Sperling. Holy cow, what a run to the stage end. As you see, the caution is out. The field's going to get caught up. Everybody's going to get reset here, but what a run there to end stage number 2. Great battle up front. It'll be interesting to see how much damage Kevin Winker got there when he caught the wall, as you saw a little bit earlier. Give you a quick rundown of the top 10 right now. Jason Baker, Jesse Sperling, Kevin Winker, Joshua Baker, Joey Creech, your top 5, Christopher Hockley, Jerry McKinney, Emil Duna, Taylor Locklear, and Mickey Sendera picks up that final top 10 spot from stage number 2. With that, that is your stage 2 Vickers Auto Parts winner, Jason Baker. We'll get Jason here after he makes his pit stop, but this will give us a chance to also recognize our title sponsor, Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania is proud to support grassroots racing in the sim racing community. We provide fast, reliable automotive maintenance to help keep our customers on the road with confidence. From oil changes and inspections to preventative maintenance and vehicle care, we're committed to quality service in the Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania communities. Just like racing, vehicle maintenance depends on performance, reliability, and attention to detail. We're excited to support the HPRL Truck Series and the drivers, teams, and fans who love motorsports. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Leave worry behind. All right, Michael. That was some serious dancing to the end of that stage. How much more can these guys amp it up in stage number 3?
Well, there's a fine line that I think we're going to see if anybody crosses, and that's they're going to get a little energetic. They're tired of maybe being back here around like maybe Mickey Sendera. We've seen him kind of be in his little stagnant spot back there near the fringe of the top 10. I think a lot of these guys are going to be really tired of just being back there. I think what they're going to do is say that we saw Jared Mann toe to pit road. We have to keep an eye on that. Maybe a little bit of trouble there on the 26, but lost my train of thought. But sorry, guys behind are going to try to get their spots quick here in this stage. It's been single file most of this race, clean racing, being nice to each other. At some point, you got to go for it. You got to go get position, get out of the dirty air, and go advance yourself. We saw the 00 slide his box there. Actually, a little bit of a mistake there for the 00 Winker. So I expect this beginning of this stage may have a little bit more chaos, not so much chaos, but a different level of aggression as Jesse Sperling's going to win the race off pit road there. Jason Baker, not a great stop. He's going to lose spots, the 58 and the 15, so he'll come out P4 off pit road. But watch for these guys maybe start trying to mix it up a little bit more early here in this stage.
We'll watch for him to mix it up, and we're going to see actually right now if we can grab Jason Baker here, our Vickers Auto Parts Stage 2 winner. Jason Baker, got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Double the pleasure, double the fun. Stage 2, Stage 1, same results. How you feeling out there?
I just frickin' slid through my box, so I lost control. But maybe I'll be able to get it back here pretty quickly. We'll see.
You've had a lot of clean air for most of this race. Obviously, some battles early on. Do you think dropping back a few spots, do you think it's going to be tougher to get back to the front, or you feel pretty confident?
Nah, I feel pretty confident I'll be able to get back there. Seems like Jesse's just as good on the long run, so it's more of a position battle between us on who's out front. So we'll see what happens here in stage 3.
Well, you and Jesse put on a heck of a show there at the end of stage 2. Best of luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, your Vickers Auto Parts Stage 2 winner, Jason Baker. Michael, we saw the 00 Kevin Winker slide his box. You just heard Jason say he slid his box there. What is one of the hardest things to overcome at these big tracks?
Well, we talk about it all the time. Don't make that silly mistake that we talk about. The biggest way you can hurt yourself is doing it on pit road, because those are free spots that you're giving away. I mean, we saw Jason Baker give up 4 spots there. He was your stage winner. Now he's going to start P5 behind Jesse and Derek Grigsby, who pitted early in that stage. We saw him try to flip that stage, so he's on only 2 or 3 lap older tires, so not too much of a disadvantage for him there. But as we look back, Winker is actually coming back down pit road, maybe try to top off with fuel. We'll keep an eye on him as he'll come back down pit road. And the 26 of Mahone, or sorry, Jared Mann is actually, I have 4 laps down. I think he left the session there, Troy.
He has left the building, and I wonder if Kevin Winker's coming back down. I wonder if there's more damage, Michael, from that contact with the wall that he had earlier on, and he just wants to get it cleaned up. We'll see here as he pulls into his pit stall. You don't see the truck go up on either side, so not getting tires a little bit longer than a fuel stop at this point in time. I'm guessing he's getting a little damage fixed.
I agree. If it was a fuel stop, it'd be a couple seconds and he'd be rolling, but just from him sitting there, and it's really, if there's a track that's a good spot to have damage, it's definitely here. I mean, you can see just how far the field is away. They're now rolling here into turn 3. I mean, caution laps here take forever to get around, so it's really nice to be able to get a good chunk of damage done, especially with fenders like that contact. You can usually have about 1 to maybe 3.5 minutes. So, I mean, it's a minute a pace lap. So, I mean, you're getting a third of it knocked out here, and you're hoping for another caution, and you can really just get it completely repaired and fixed up to go right back out good as new.
Good as new. Grigsby and that Dodge Ram bringing him out of turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the green flag here at stage number 3, get ready. We're going to crank it up for you. Great action on that restart as we're live here again in stage number 3. Up front, we've got a change. Things are moving and grooving. Everybody has shaken things out, and Jesse Sperling is at the point with Joshua and Jason Baker side by side behind him. Here comes the battle as they head off into turn number 1. Jesse Sperling on point, Jason Baker up to second, Joshua Baker in third, Grigsby back to 4th.
Yep, we see Jesse Sperling's taking the lead back over there. He won it back, and he went up there and got it, took it away there. But the one part I want to watch behind him, excuse me if I choke on myself, we see the 58 and the 85, the Baker brothers right there, Joshua and Jason. Jason looking to the inside of Jesse Sperling. Let's see if his brother follows. He will. 2 of them looking to the inside of the 29 here. Another one, that's Creech, also going to dive under there looking for the window to open up. Jesse Sperling's under attack early here. I know he doesn't want to push this soon, but he can't lose too many spots here. As you can see, they're moving all around him. The 58 gets a little bit of the grass. Josh able to hold on to it. Rolls on here. Creech right on his back bumper, though. Joey Creech is staying high and tight right there with him. We see these guys, just like we said, they're ready to go. They're going to make their move. They're going to try to go fight for it. Creech now underneath the 58. Nope, he's going to break it back there a little bit early and fall back into line. Jason Baker still your leader, running away with it. Watch on here, Jesse Sperling right behind him in P2. Joshua Baker trying to regather it back up to go try to get back up there with his brother. Jesse Sperling's trying to reel him back in. He's not going to push too hard. Look behind. Actually see a little bit of a jumble back here behind this group. That's the 1 of Locklear, the 2 of Sundera, the 21 of Justice, and the 18 the 18 of 21 has refused to get away from each other. We've seen them all race be beside each other. As you see, Wojcik thought about going to the inside there. Locklear leading this group behind for P10 through about P15, P16 right there. Good racing out of this group here behind that front group. So you see Locklear is going to start to pull away a little bit, which is now going to focus the battle here. Once again, the 21, the 2, and the 18 as the front pack is going to be single file playing nice.
All these guys tight. They say 2.5 mile track. We don't need 2.5 miles. We only need 100 feet. We're going to do all the action right here, right now. 2 distinct packs forming here. Michael, one of the things we did not touch on before the race was kind of the race overview, right? 90 laps. We've covered that well. The first 2 stages in the book. We're in the final stage. 1 fast repair for all these guys, 6 sets of tires. But the thing I want to focus on is that estimated fuel run. We estimate about 30 to 35 laps as we watch Justice push Sundera down the straightaway. 30 to 35 laps, depending on how much you're using, how much you're saving in the draft. That means we're going to see pit stops. That is probably why some guys look to pit early. It did not work out for those guys at the end of stage 2. What are you going to think here? Do you need friends? The draft, we've talked about the draft. Do you have to go with teammates? Do you have to go with somebody else? Can you short pit? What is your strategy here on this last stage with a guaranteed need for fuel at some point?
I'm not mad with a short pit here, especially if you can get a couple of your teammates or a couple of your friends to go down there with you. Obviously, you're not gonna die like at a super speedway where if you go by yourself, you're just gonna get ran over like a freight train. But it'll be a noticeable difference with guys who have 3 or 4 cars in the draft versus someone who doesn't. I mean, it's just there's so much more air, so much more speed there. I mean, it's about a 10-mile-an-hour difference, which is not like you said, not a huge as a super speedway where it's 15 to 20 miles an hour, but it's still enough to where if you're all by yourself and they start to run you down, you're just gonna have to fight hard to try to grab on, or at least with a group of guys chasing you down to come get you back. But no, I think a short pit, if you can get it right near that window, maybe a hair before, to where if you need to save towards the end of the run, you can. That's the kind of move that I think I would want to aim for, just because one, you get first right to the fresh tires. If you get a caution, maybe somebody goes in, push a little too hard in the exit, you've already pitted, so you're good to go ahead and take the wave around. If you're still in the lead lap, which this is a big racetrack, so I don't think we'll go a lap down from pitting. I think you'll just have to worry about not getting past, but with fresh tires, you should be at the advantage there. But I want to be one of the first ones on pit road. That way it's everybody moving to my strategy as opposed to me waiting for somebody to make the first move.
I want to be the first to pit road as long as it's not in the back of the tow truck. That's what these guys are going to focus on as they're ripping the laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Great views there as Michael was giving that analysis, watching the field tow, how they work. But now this battle right here. Wow, what a move by Mickey Sundera. That was tight, but tight is all right as long as you keep it straight. And Mickey's at the front of this pack, leading. Wow, more slicing and dicing. What movement from these trucks, Michael.
Yeah, we see Justice really starting to get a little bit aggressive there. You saw him slide out of the corner there at a turn 4, able to hold on to it. But I want to drag your attention up to the front. So we see McKinney. Oh, actually saw the 21 wiggle there too. Actually going to stay here for a second. Try to see if maybe Justice gets a little bit more trouble there on those hot tires in the rear of that truck. He's definitely made it upset. Now McKinney is going to get past him again. I know I've said it 1,000 times. The 18 to 21 around each other once more. Justice McKinney hanging around here. This is for P12 between the two of them right now. Justice definitely heated up those tires. You saw him slide a couple times and had to start chasing that truck. So he's pushing hard, trying to get back underneath there, the 18. But up at the front, I want to bring your attention. Jesse Sperling has been passed. The 58 of Joshua Baker has got around him, and he is now right behind his brother, Jason. But Joey Creech still there in P4. Jesse maybe gave it up, trying to hold on to those tires. We see right there, he's actually pushing pretty hard. I think maybe the 58 actually got around him. And I think Jesse's pushing back, trying to go get those spots back, Troy.
Jesse might be pushing hard here. He's roping the bottom side, trying to chase down Jason and Joshua Baker, but Joey Creech is right there with him. Joey up front a little bit earlier, stage 2. We saw him drop back a little bit, but now Urkel's grabbed those suspenders, pulled them on up, and he's ready to join the Friday night fight on Thursday. Joey Creech and P4 trying to track down the leaders.
Yeah, these guys are giving everything they got. It's either going to be kissing the bricks or it's going to be kissing it goodbye. There is no hold still here. We still have a good bit of race distance here, but you can see these guys have, as we saw the 2 leaders both simultaneously slide out of turn 4 there. They're giving these trucks everything they have. They know they have that pit stop, and I think some of these guys may be coming sooner than we think just because they won't have any rear tires left. I mean, we see everybody throughout this field. They are pushing that truck to the limit. If you see Jesse with a perfect line right there, you see him get that truck right underneath that white line, which really is where you want to try to aim your truck down there. If you can get it, you saw Jason Baker get close to it. See right there, that fine line. We'll try to see if we can get a better view for you. But see here at Indianapolis, you have a little bit of asphalt below that white line that you can actually get down there. The tricky part and the dangerous part is where you'll see it right here, a little white patch of concrete, or when you start getting into the grass. Not here. There you go. You see that little thin strip of lighter color? That's actually concrete. It's not asphalt. If you get on there, you're right on the edge of the grass, which will just absolutely ship the truck around. But if you get on the concrete, it can also be very loose if you get the left rear on there. The left front is maybe not so much because you'll kind of just slide back up onto the asphalt surface. Oh, big hit behind. Taylor Locklear, huge wreck into the wall. He's going to catch a 21 wreck behind him. Huge wreck here near the back of the field.
Well, there we go. Strategy time. Hard hit for Taylor Locklear. I'm guessing that's going to use his fast repair up there. We'll jump back and take a replay look here as we watch Taylor roping the bottom side. Jerry McKinney shading him up. Taylor gets up into the corner behind Mickey Sundera. Jerry McKinney right behind him. Goes to the outside. Oh! The 18 may have gotten a little loose and got a bad angle on Taylor Locklear. We'll see if we can get another look at that, maybe out the back of Taylor's truck here in one of these views. But here we're inside. You're going to ride along with Jerry McKinney. You see he gets shaded to the outside. Just a little tap on that rear corner. And unfortunately, that turns Taylor Locklear to the outside. What a hard hit, Michael.
Yeah, you can just see McKinney saw that window open there on the high side, out in the excuse me, on the outside. He's going for it right there. He decides, all right, I'm gonna rope this corner, and Locklear goes up to try to roll out the corner, and Jerry's just right there. The spotter probably said clear, and so Locklear thinks he has the room to go ahead and go up there and get his exit. McKinney just up there. As soon as he comes up, he gets a little bit of the clip on the back bumper, which sends him around for a wild ride. We'll see right here. So see right there, McKinney up on the throttle, and Locklear just comes up just a little bit. Actually got a little bit down below that apron. I think we'll try to see if we can get a view of his tire. I think he maybe got a little bit of the grass we were talking about. Let's see if we can get a view up here. Let's see where he goes. You see he gets a little bit. Yep, got a little bit of that asphalt. Came up the track just a little bit. And that's where McKinney caught him.
Very tough situation. And for those of you at home that don't understand how the spotter works here in iRacing, the spotter that built into the system works off of a straight plane. So it goes straight off the bumper, front and back, and what's outside you. It does not take into account closing speed. So when Michael was talking about his spotter probably said clear, it does not have that depth perception to see a truck coming. So if the truck is not physically sitting in that plane directly outside of bumper to bumper, it's going to tell you you're clear. And it's one of those things that split-second decisions have to be made at 170 miles an hour, and sometimes it just doesn't pan out. Again, very unfortunate situation for Taylor Locklear. We'll see if he can get it all patched up with that fast repair. But under this caution, it'll give us a chance to give another shout-out to Veterans and Affiliated Network.
Right, you are Troy, Veterans and Affiliated Networking. That is who is bringing you this great HPRL racing every Thursday night here. Tonight we're at Indy. Next week we'll disclose that a little bit later where we're headed, but the focus is on van. Veterans and Affiliated Networking. Are you a veteran looking to get into iRacing? You want to hop up here in the booth, me and Troy, Thaddeus and Trevor and the rest of the team? You want to try to hop in one of these trucks or some of the cars we saw earlier tonight on the screen there in the O'Reilly series? Maybe you just want to play around in the Photoshop or a little bit of the trading paints maker, and you want to have some fun trying to make your own trucks and make yourself look cool. All that in mind, we have the spot to help you for that. That is Veterans and Affiliated Networking. We are here to help veterans and first responders with anything and everything iRacing. Any questions, any kind of tips, coaching, tricks that we know up our sleeves, we can gladly get to you and help walk you through and show you. All you have to do is reach out and email. Please email at veteransandAffiliatedNetworking@gmail.com or leave a comment or try to DM us here through the video. We will gladly get you information or anything that you're looking for. And remember, don't run, don't go kiss the bricks, get in the van.
Get in the van, indeed. And while we're under caution here real quick, we're going to see if we can really quick
He's got
grab
damage.
number 12 of Chris Griffin real quick. Chris, you had a wild ride a little bit earlier in the race. Looked like maybe some network issues. How you feeling now? You settled back in? How you feeling here in the last stage?
Yeah, we're back on the lead lap. Hurt myself a little bit to start, but yeah, I new life. So I felt like I was fast. I mean, I drove from 20th to 13th there in the second stage, a lap down, albeit. But I think there's speed in the truck. Just finally got my break to get back in it.
Well, great. Glad to see you back out there. Glad you have it pointed forward. Best of luck the rest of the way, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, quick check in there with Chris Griffin. Again, we saw him with those network issues earlier on that caused that first caution we had. Michael, glad to hear that he's all dialed back in on the lead lap and feeling good. As we get ready to go back to green here, you ready to push this thing to the end? Less than 40 laps to go.
Definitely going to have to start making your moves now. I think we're just on the outside of that fuel window we were talking about for the guys. Maybe went and pit there. I think most of the field did, excuse me. So most of these guys are close to that window, not all the way in yet, we think. So we may maybe see the interesting strategy of trying to save a little bit of fuel here. You burn more if you're in the draft. Maybe try to save a little bit, maybe more towards that mid-pack. Guys won't have to go in the pit lane, but I think the leader or leaders of this pack who've been pushing so hard, if they don't save, they may end up having to start trying to choke back a little bit, save a little bit of fuel to get in that window to know that they're good to get into this race.
Yeah, again, that fuel window we estimate to be 30 to 35 laps. We're outside that, so saving might be the key. But right now, the key is that green flag high in the air as we watch the flagman watching the field come down. Here we go. The green flag is waving. We're underway here at Indy.
Back underway at the yard of bricks, as you'll see the 85 once again get a clean run there, set himself up here for turn one. The 29 right behind him, the 58. Oh, contact! Oh, hold on to it! The 58 up in the fence, comes down, gets a few more. Big wreck in the back, big wreck.
Oh.
Just a big one.
Big. The bricks are all stacked up here on this restart. There's going to be a lot to unpack.
We're going to try to go the very start of this, I believe, is when the 58 here in turn one. Try to see if I can get a better view here for us. Here we go. We're going to watch them. Joshua didn't quite get the jump he wanted there into turn one. Tries to come down to slip in, and Joey Creech is there, so just gets the 58 loose. He comes down off the wall a little bit, which then catches Seth Owens, the 17. Ooh, comes way across after taking a wild ride there off the fence. We'll grab a different view here. We'll ride along with Joshua Robinson in the 17 here, P7. Gonna ride along. You see the 58 come down. He has nowhere to go. Gets on to Grigsby. He goes for almost a flip. Goes sideways there. Try to see if we can catch the onboard here. Grigsby, who had a ride on here. Here we go. Grigsby, you see Grigsby sees Creech there. A little bit of contact to the side. He just has nowhere to go and no control over that truck. You hear the motor blow out of his truck. So that is one engine blown here. We'll try to see if we can get a couple more views. We're going to ride aboard the 3 of Seth Owens. He sees the 58 trying to just go through. He gets clipped. Able to hold on to a little bit of contact. Maybe not something too bad. A little bit of a scrape there on that front bumper. Make sure I'm not.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see what it's like to be on a wild ride, we're going to ride on board with the 17 of Joshua Robinson. We'll give you a view of what it's like inside of one of these trucks. As you're watching this unfold, you're going to see here rope in the bottom side. He can't even see the accident happening. Now he sees a puff of smoke, and the next thing he knows, he's turned and he sees sky. That is how quickly these things happen, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, it's just in a blink of an eye. And you saw when he's not seeing the sky, he looks down and sees a couple trucks coming at 130 miles an hour at him, which definitely will catch your attention. Try to see if we can get an eye on maybe who make it through that wreck and who don't. We'll try to get an eye down pit lane. See if we can see these guys start to use that fast repair and get them back out here to the field. A couple of them diving on in. The 00 of Winker's also going to come in. I wonder if he's still trying to patch up some of that damage we saw from earlier this race. See right there. Mickey Sundera is going to roll off pit road. 00 is coming into his box. Nice and clean. I believe that's the 17. That's the 17 of Joshua Robinson. He is going to get that truck repaired and back rolling. The 58 is as well.
Hey, Michael, ding dong, guess who got free? Emil Duna's up to P3. He managed to escape all of that and is currently rolling around in your top 3 behind Jesse Sperling and Jason Baker.
Yeah, if there's one person that I always like to tell that I'm right, it's definitely the 14 of Emil Duna. We talked to him earlier this week. He had zero confidence coming into this race. He has pretty much said most of this week he was not expecting him to be anywhere up in the top half of this field. And funny enough, here he is sitting there, P3, got through that wreck clean, able to keep that truck nice and shiny, the Coca-Cola machine. And we're going to see if he maybe has a chance maybe to go fight here for a win later in this race. But he's got to beat the 2 trucks that have been dominant all day in the 29 and the 85 ahead of him.
The 29.85 will definitely be tough, but great advancement for Duna. Christopher Hockley just behind him, Brian Torrey. Chris Griffin, we just talked to Chris under that last caution. He used his fast repair up. We didn't ask him that, but we can tell you he used his fast repair up during that first caution and that hard hit. So it's really important for him to keep that truck clean. And here he is now rolling around P6. So he said he got that lap back, felt pretty good, sitting pretty good right now. So a little bit of a shakeup up front with that caution. We'll see who can continue. Looks like we do have a couple guys dropping a lap down, at least on my tower. We'll see if that gets confirmed as we get the live scoring. But looks like Tyler Spry, Derek Grigsby, Joey Creech, Stephen Justice, all getting some work done from that caution. But the pace truck has them side by side going through the short chute between 1 and 2. We'll see some guys exiting pit road on the bottom and on the backstretch. Michael, we're now going to be at 35 laps to go. Now the strategy is going to be, did you save enough? Those guys that did not pit here, can you make it to the end?
It'll definitely be a great question. We're going to bring up the race analysis one more time to show you that we have expected about a 30 to 35 lap fuel run. Before we had that caution, we had about 40 laps coming to that start. Now, you can save a ton of fuel here on these restarts. You push the clutch in, you brings the motor idle to about 500 to 1500 RPM. So, I mean, it's barely burning any fuel if you ride that clutch around here trying to save some more fuel. But even then, I still think they're on that fine line, and I don't think they saved enough yet. If we get maybe another caution or two, then you may start talking about it. But 5 laps is a lot of fuel to save, even here at Indy, where you have those long straightaways to just roll and take your time. I still think we may see some have to make some stops here for fuel.
It will be entertaining to say the least. It's like short track action on a 2.5 mile historic oval, Michael. Like, this has been amped up. And speaking of amped up, the pace truck is going to drop off in just a moment. You're going to see that hard left-hand turn, the field working down the straightaway. They're going to amp up that throttle pedal as the green flag is high in the air. It's going to start waving, and we are going to go back racing here in the final stage at Indy.
Here we go, back to green once again. The 85 of Jason Baker going to shade up to get his entry he likes there into turn 1. The 29 once again following him through. New players up here at the front, though. We're talking about a little bit of contact between Hockley and Duna there. Duna maybe a little bit of worn on those tires. You saw him get a little tight there in the middle of that corner. He's actually starting to fall over. Let's see how he's able to hold on. Hockley goes past Griffin there on the outside. He's trying to fight still on the outside there. Duna sitting there. Torrey looking beneath them. Sundera now up there. Oh boy, here we go. Hold on. Sundera dives in front of Torrey. Chris Griffin stuck on the outside still. He's trying to get down to that bottom line where he wants to be. Let's see if he maybe tries to charge around the 2 of Sundera here out of turn 4. Let's see what happens. Gonna drive it up that little groove higher. Duna still rolling ahead of these two. He's going to fade back behind the two of Sundera, all while Jason Baker still your leader. Jesse Sperling behind him. Christopher Hockley now up to P3. He's going to try his shot here soon. We've seen Sperling and Hockley kind of follow a similar driving style. Oh, McKinney goes around behind.
Oh, big wreck. Jerry McKinney. I think it's Tyler Spry that's caught up with him. I can't tell if it's him or Joey Creech. With all that smoke, you caught just the glimpse of it in the background.
Running along here. See McKinney there in that red truck on the inside. Comes down. Oh, almost got the truck to pick up. That is the 62 of Joey Creech who gets there into his back bumper. We're going to get you another view here. Riding aboard one more time. There you go. You see the 18. He's behind the 58. The 62 goes looking for the 3 wide opportunity and just gets into the back corner there, the 18, and spins him around. Locklear maybe a little bit of a hair of damage, and Spry comes in after the fact and gets just a lap full there of the 18. We're going to ride on board with Tyler Spry here and see him go and catch the 18 McKinney. You can see smoke in the air. Oh, he's just hoping the 18 goes back down the track, not able to get it back down there where he wants it to be. He just goes right there into the 18. We'll get one more view here. Try to get on board the 62 of Creech. There behind him. Here we go. You see 18 down there working with the 58, and Creech says, I'm going to take my opportunity. He's going for the 3 wide. Just doesn't get all the way down there and gets onto the corner of the 18 and gets him around.
I'm going to say ouch on that last hit from Tyler Spry. That was a hard one. But while we're under caution, I want to point out for those of you that are watching live, in the chat, we have one of our drivers, not here this evening, Caleb Sibbett. Michael, I'm now taking Caleb's approach to this. He's calling multiple shots, so he's going to be right at some point in time. Caleb says Sperling gets it done. But he also pointed out that Mickey Sundera, don't sleep on him. He's great on the long runs as we start to see some action here on pit road.
Ooh, a bunch of takers and a couple that stayed out. That's we said I don't think they have enough fuel. These guys are going to go ahead and top off their tanks. They're going to be, let's see, do some math. They're going to be good on fuel unless I can't count correct. They should be within that window that we were talking about all race. We're going to watch the race off pit road here and see who's going to lead this strategy as they come off of pit road. A couple that stayed out, including the 15 of Hockley, the 14 of Duna, the 58 of Baker, the 00 of Winker, and the 3 of Seth Owens all stayed out. Jason Baker should be the highest car that stayed here that came down pit road. You'll see him pull away first. Heather Locklear rolling on out. And the rest of them are going to race each other off. Jesse Sperling, Jerry McKinney, getting that truck patched up, ready to rock and roll. 17, the 74, and the 2 of Sundera as they all roll off pit road. Got a couple more coming off here. Maybe a little bit of damage fixing. Watch on. There goes the 62 of Creech and the 93 of Burt Wojcik.
See those pit stops happening. Again, a lot of excitement making the call now. But you see Christopher Hockley and Emil Duna out in front right now. Well, we're going under caution here. Want to give a shout out to Chris Griffin. We talked to him just a little bit ago. He's getting some love from Ron Griffin in the chat. So Go 12 is what we're seeing out there. So shout out to Chris. Also want to make everybody watching aware, all the drivers were informed this week what the format is going to be for the All-Star race later this fall. We will share that with all of you in the coming weeks. But Michael, you've had a chance to take a glimpse at it. And I think it's fair to say it's going to be a very exciting, very entertaining All-Star race later this fall.
Well, obviously, you know, me and you are practically on here every other night doing something, and I can just truly say that you are a man of chaos. You definitely like to get, obviously, the fans engaged, which is always great, but, I mean, just the way that you looked at it, I'm not going to spoil any surprises there. I'm going to let you have that fun with it. Let's just say there won't be a dull moment in that race that we won't be paying attention to.
Indeed. I also want to make sure that all of you watching know that you personally will be involved. You will have a say in the outcome for some driver. It all takes part as the Fantasy Sim Racing website. We will share a link to that on the broadcast in the future. Again, if you don't have it, get familiar with it. Talk to your favorite driver. They all have access to it through their league channels. But that will be a factor. You will have a say through your interaction with Fantasy Sim Racing and the HPRL Truck Series drivers in how that all-star race plays out. And I mean, you can say chaos, Michael. I prefer excitement. I think it's going to be exciting. I think that there's going to be a lot on the line, and I think every lap is going to count.
It's definitely going to count. We're obviously not going to give too many away, but every lap, every inch, every position is going to matter here. So we'll definitely look forward to that in the coming weeks. We'll go over that when we get to the end of this race. We'll look back at the schedule and try to project ahead of the excitement and maybe try to throw a few more teases as we get a little bit closer there.
Well, the only teasing that we have to worry about right now is what this field is doing to us. We've had long runs, we've had short runs, we've had actions, we've had trucks in the air, we've had trucks on pit road. But right now, we have trucks rolling through turn 3, getting ready to go back green flag racing. Michael, those front two did not pit. Are they sitting ducks for the rest of the field, or do they know something the rest of the field doesn't?
Well, the part that helps them is that I believe the 58 and the 00 also stayed out. Obviously, they were on a little bit fresher tire just because I believe they had a little bit more of mistake. We'll try to see if we can get that pulled up there. Try to see when everybody pitted up here. But the two in the front row, if you can work together, it's definitely going to help you. If you can have your buddies, as the pace truck's going to peel off pace truck's going to peel off pit row here as we're going to come to the green.
That's one too many P's, please. Let's go green flag racing so we can stop talking about letters of the alphabet and start focusing on the top of the leaderboard.
That's right. We already seen aggressive move there from the 85, trying to get the inside of the 00. Winker back there, shut the air off there at the 85. I want to keep an eye, maybe not so much on these front two, but a little bit further back, starting with the 85 and the 29 who are on those sticker tires. They have fresh tires. They know they have enough fuel to get to the end. They're going to be fighting hard to get past these four ahead of them, who are on a little bit of a different strategy. They're actually going to pull up to the side here on the timing tower of when these guys last pit. You can see the leader, Christopher Hockley, last on pit road at lap 50. Baker at lap 54, Duna lap 50, Winker 55, Baker 59, Robinson 58. So a lot of these guys, your last one's on pit road. Winker there in the 55, a little bit ahead here. He is one of the last. He is the oldest tires. There we go, ahead of pit road there. As you see, Winker is now looking to the inside of Emil Duna here, headed into turn 1. We'll try to see if he's able to get that pass done. While your leader, the 15 of Hockley and the 58 of Joshua Baker, are pulling away right now from this group behind.
Duna, don't blink. That's a wink. Going past you. Winker.
Oh! Spin! The leader, the 15, goes around. I don't know if he had a little bit of assistance, but it sure looked like he did off the nose of the 58 there. Christopher Hockley goes around. We get a replay, trying to catch what happened here. Here we go. We're gonna ride with the view here. You see the 15 goes into the corner. The 58 gets a good roll-in speed right there. Tries to get on the throttle. Oh, he got loose, and the 58 just didn't quite get checked up in time. He thought he was going to hold on to it. A tap there for the 15 sends Christopher Hockley around. We're going to get one more view here. We're going to try to get another view on board the 58. Try to see if we can get a good view here with Joshua Baker. You see he's trying to roll back in there, trying to run down as fast as he can. Here we go. We're going to go into turn 1. A little bit of contact there on the 15 on the outside wall. Doesn't get all the way down below that white line. Just gets loose. You can hear the 58 get out of the gas right there. He's not trying to get contact there with the 15. But the 15 is already spinning at that point. He's not able to get it recollect. Here we go. We'll get one more riding on with Christopher Hockley. You'll hear that truck start to slide. And there's that little nudge of Joshua Baker trying not to hit him. And he goes around.
Decisions were made. Things happened. We'll get another reset. That's what we know. Old tires, fresher tires, and a lot of hard battling. One of those things, again, everything's happening so fast. A guy gets loose, You try to give him room, but you can't slam on the brakes either. Right? You got a whole field of trucks coming at you at 170 miles an hour from the end of that straightaway. So a lot of tight battles, and yeah, a little bit more action as the field will reset. It looks like currently Joshua Baker, Kevin Winker, Jason Baker, who you were just talking about on that restart, Joshua Robinson, and Emil Duna. And it looks like Duna is going to finally make that pit stop, Michael.
Yep, he's going to go try to put those stickers, tires on behind him. Try to see if we can catch who's going there with him. I believe that's the 93, maybe? Not quite sure. We'll try to catch an eye on as they leave pit road. But you can see McKinney back there, and the Hockley in 15 is probably going to come get some damage fixed. The 58 still going to stay out there on those older tires along with the 00 of Winker. What that does with that spin right there is it helps out Jason Baker. He wants these little short runs. You'll see Grigsby's going to get a lap back there. That's going to bring him back onto the lead lap, actually, for the 5 there of Derek Grigsby. But Jason Baker would rather see that than have to worry about 4 cars ahead of him when he started the last restart. Now he only has to worry about 2 cars on older tires. And Jesse Sperling actually lost a spot there to the 17 of Joshua Robinson. So Sperling's not going to be right on his door exactly off the rip. So it's going to give Jason a chance to go try to make a move on these 2 and get himself back up front.
It's going to be very interesting to see the strategy on the restart. We talked about the strategy on pit road. Now it's what are you going to do? How hard are you going to push and how soon? Michael, in the background, I've been looking at some of the times. On the short run, it's just as you said. Jason Baker has consistently been the fastest on 10-lap and lower averages. When we get up to the 15-lap range, which is what we're going to be when we get this restart, well, actually, we're going to be 25 because I can do math very well. But the 15 to 25-lap average, all in there, Chris Griffin has been the fastest truck in that span. If we were to go beyond that and have a longer run, Christopher Hockley, who just was involved in that caution, is the fastest long run truck. So we're sitting in very interesting territory right now where the guys that are fastest at varying lengths of the run are not the same driver. So it's going to be really important these guys put themselves in position. If you're Chris Griffin, right now you're sitting P8. You can't be too far back on that long run. If we go green from here on out, you have the fastest average in this type of window. But if you're too far back, it might be too much ground to make up. So it's going to be very interesting to see how aggressively these guys push early on to be in that position come the end of the race.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be about how you set yourself up here for these last last bit of laps here as we get set up here for this last, what we hope to be last caution and last run of the race. We'll try to keep an eye on it, but I agree. I think you got to push early here. Don't tear the truck up. You have a little bit of window where I think you can push maybe a lap or 2. Just try to give yourself the best starting position and then get back in your rhythm. Get back to your easy in, easy out. Make sure you keep those tires happy. Prolong the life as long as you can because, like I said, a couple of these names have been super great on that long run. We've seen Jason Baker charge ahead for the short run. I think he'll do the exact same here to go get that lead back and try to put Dirty Air behind him with the 58 and the 00. He's going to try to get them behind him as quick as he can and leave that for the 17, the 29, the 2, and the 1 of Locklear. He's going to try to leave them to have to worry about getting through those 2 trucks. But Jason has to make sure that these 2 don't get lined up. If the 58 and the 00 get lined up, that's going to hurt Jason because instead of them being side by side where he has the choice who to help or a third group of his own if he wants to, he's going to have twice that dirty air, and he's just going to have to try to make up his time and pick them off one at a time as opposed to worrying about fighting one off.
Yeah, great analysis. And again, let's not lose sight of Kevin Winker, the 00. He was battling up front earlier on. He had a little bit of contact with the wall. We think he got some damage fixed earlier in the run when he was doing a battle for the top 3 positions. So it's not like Kevin Winker is unfamiliar with being up front at this track. So don't sleep on any of these top guys. And as we've seen here in the last stage, there has been a lot of action. So a lot can still change between here and the end of the race.
Yep, I definitely agree. There's plenty of shuffling still to do. Plenty of time to go make your day or break your day. And we're going to watch on here as the pace truck's going to pull off right here. They're going to roll into the restart zone, headed for the yard of Fabled Bricks.
The flag is high in the air once again. The field is side by side. You see the field of bricks going to come into sight. The green flag is going to drop, and the action is going to pick up. Here we go again at Indy.
Back again, it's Baker, but a different one this time. It's the 58 of Joshua Baker. He's going to lead the field here to turn 1. Jason Baker went aggressive. Oh, no, hold on to it. Winker got sideways out of the corner, got a little bit of contact there with the 29 of Sperling. I think they got through nice and clean. You see him here, goes settle back in line in 5th. Now we have brother on brother. How nice is Jason going to play with Joshua? And is Joshua Robinson behind in P3, who's now in front of Sperling? They're all going to try to run down that Jason Baker ahead of them. Make sure he doesn't get to that clean air first and get away from these guys like we saw him do earlier in this race.
Joshua Baker out in front of Jason makes you wonder how well they got along as children. Is there going to be payback in the future? We'll find out. But Joshua Robinson been hanging around, working his way. Again, started shotgun on the field. Currently running P3. Look at the battle. Again, we see him single file most of the way through the field. The top two working well together.
Go.
Baker and Baker action drafting away. The rest of the field going to try to reel him back in.
Yep, trying to reel him back in. Like I said, I really want to see how Jason's going to play this. Is he going to just try to push the 58 and play nice and let these two kind of work together to get away? Or is there going to be a little bit of something aggression out of the 85 where he says, you know what, this is my race. I'm faster. I'm going to the point here. Get out of the way. So we're going to watch on here. He's going to have a little bit of run here heading the 3. You can see they've already made gap behind. Then Jesse Sperling's looking to the inside. The 17 of Robinson. Jason Baker is still following nice and tight there behind his brother of Joshua. These two continue to battle it out as Jesse Sperling gets ahead of Joshua Robinson, and Winker's looking underneath the 17 as well.
The battle's heating up here. The pack can see the top two. They don't want to let them get too far away, but at the same time, they've got their own battles. We see Jason. He takes a peek. He ducks back in line behind Joshua. He wants to go. He might be seeing that gap starting to close behind him. He might be watching the relative, seeing that Jesse's there, and he said Jesse was fast, so he might be watching them here. And he also knows Kevin Winker's back there. Winker got a little bit loose, broke this pack apart. He might be wanting to push. Like you said, Michael, fresh air might be the king. Joshua wants to hold that front spot, though. He wants to lead laps. He wants to win this race. Been pushing hard all along. Jason in tow behind Joshua. The Bakers leading the field here at Indy.
Yeah, I'm watching the times over here to my side. You can see a little bit there on the pile on the top of your screen. Jesse Sperling is 1.5 behind. It actually grew a good bit. I think Jason's pushing super hard trying to get around his brother. And you can see he's actually lost a bit of ground there. He's not going to get the pass. I don't think they're playing nice. I think Joshua's holding off for the win here. He's not going to let his brother pass him. And what that does is playing right into Jesse Sperling's hands. And Hockley and some of the other guys we said that have that long run speed, they're going to take their time, wait their turn at this. Jason Baker is pushing with everything he had here early in this run. You only hope that he hasn't scraped off the speed. It's going to be later that he's going to need to hold off the guys who we know are going to come eventually. But he's holding on, trying to get around the 58 of his brother Joshua Baker. The gap 1.556 ahead there of Jesse Sperling. You see him thinking about diving under here. He's not going to do it yet. Joshua's still leading as ahead in the turn 3. Jason still following behind. Jesse Sperling. Winker goes around the 17 of Robinson. Winker up to P4 now. Still, he's 5/10 behind Jesse Sperling. So Sperling kind of on his own behind this group. We're going to hop back there for a second. You see, there you go, Jesse Sperling rolling out of the corner. A little bit of gap up front, a little bit of gap behind. He's just going to try to bide his time. You'll see the 85 shitting in. I think he's going to go for it this time. Yes, he is. Nope, maybe. Thought about it. Nope, settles back in line. Not close enough yet. Jason wants to get around Joshua. You can see he got real. Oh, got tight into the fence.
I was just going to say, Jason's been stepping that truck up through the corners. He might be pushing the tires too hard. And there he goes. He taps the wall. Now the question is, did it do damage, Michael? Did it slow him down? We see the gap between him and Joshua. Obviously, it's going to take some time to build that speed back up. But did he hurt the truck? Now we're going to find out, is it Joshua's race out in front for everybody to chase? Or is Jason okay? This is going to be interesting because that was not a soft hit on that outside wall.
That was definitely not the nicest hit. You could have given that truck a good bit of contact where the wall juts out a little bit. You'll see it coming back around here as they go back into turn 1. Hopefully we can try to get that same angle again. We'll try to show you how that wall juts out just a little bit. Here we go. We're going to ride along here. You can see, look to the left side. You can see how it opens up right there. Again, the wall gets thicker with that safer barrier right there. That little bit of cushion try to help you. The short shoot, you can see it sticks out just a little bit there. You try to almost ride that angle out of the corner there into the short shoot. And Jason just took so much speed into the corner that he just got actually a little bit of a nick there out of turn 2. They're still pulling away from Jesse Sperling. Jesse Sperling 1.6 behind them, but Jason starting to close back in a little bit there on Joshua. But like I said, biggest thing is to see maybe did he hurt the tires too much, and did he hurt that truck any?
Seems to be staying pretty well in tow with Joshua Baker here. I was watching his line to see if he was hugging the corner a little bit to see if he was trying to help it rotate at all. As we get a great view here looking at the back from Joshua Baker, you're going to see Jason right behind him. Jason staying in tow with the head down the long straightaway, not ducking away. Looked like Jason maybe backing off a little bit earlier, like you had talked about earlier, Michael, like backing up the corner, really focusing on the exit all the way up to the wall. It's hard to tell if he's even brushing it there. Rope in the bottom, all the way down. Hits that concrete a little bit, upsets the truck, chases it up, keeps it off the wall there. Wow. Michael, that's pushing it pretty hard. That's using up every inch of the track.
Yes, and that's the line. If we're going to be honest, that's the line I prefer. I like getting down onto that concrete because you can almost get the truck to get a little bit, I'm not going to say loose, but you get a pitch a little bit more. Whereas right there, you see he's on that middle group. He loses so much ground because he's not able to get the power down. If you get down to that concrete, you can give it just a little hair of throttle, try to give it some pitch. As you saw, I think Joshua got close there. It can give you a little bit more rotation to get even more throttle out. But the run's going to the 85. Here he comes. Josh is going to shade inside. He's not going to let his brother get to his inside. Let's see if Jason goes for a dive. No, Jason bails. Get ready for him to try to get the exit here. He saw him back that corner early. Like we talked about earlier in this race. Here we go. He's going to try to charge it up out of this corner right here. Let's see how he does it. Dives under, gets some clean air on his nose. Joshua way out of the gas. Hold on here. Got loose. Here comes the 85. The 85's looking now. They're side by side going down the backstretch. We may have a pass for the lead here. Jason Baker trying to clear his brother. Not yet. He is clear. He pulls ahead. Jason Baker to the point.
Jason Baker using that wall-adjusted aerodynamics to get back out in front and got that clean air. Jason Baker in front of Joshua Baker. Meanwhile, not a ton, but Jesse Sperling has closed a little bit. We'll see now with Jason out in front. Is Jason able to stretch those legs and extend that lead? Or does Jesse Sperling and Kevin Winker, along with Joshua Robinson, have a little bit of something for the Bakers up front? Did they fight? Michael, you said it. They're brothers, but they're fighting like they were sworn rivals there to try to get the lead. Jason finally got back on the front. Joshua in tow, but here comes Jesse Sperling. The gap continues to shrink. It might be go time.
It's definitely, I think Jason definitely hurt those tires battling with his brother there. Maybe not so much where we saw Joshua get a little bit loose, but he was pushing so hard earlier. You saw him riding the higher grooves, trying to build up runs out of the corners. I think it may have hurt that truck a little bit, just trying to push so hard to get around his brother. We'll have to keep an eye on it. You can see the gap holding steady at 1.2, 1.3 right there. We're going to take a look back here a little bit further back in the field. The 2 of Mickey Sundera mentioned that Sibit had mentioned. He's up to P6 with the 12 of Chris Griffin behind him. We talked about Griffin having great long run speed here. As we see, Griffin may actually go for a move here going into turn 1. He will. They're going to be side by side here, coming across the yard of bricks. Here we go. We're going to go into turn 1. Chris Griffin not clear yet, but he's got the preferred groove there on the bottom. See him drive it hard in. Side by side, as tight as you can get there with the 2 of Sundera. He's going to try to clear him here out of turn 2. Sundera, make sure you don't get too tight and get a little bit of that fence. Oh, keeps it clean. We saw Hockey give a little bit of a love tap there at the outside wall. As we watch on, Griffin still holding tough there. Locklear go for a 3 wide here as he's going to give the push there to the 12. A little bit of a push. There we go. Gives the push to the 12. The 12's clear. The 2 now. The 2. Ooh, hold on to it, Mickey. Hold on to it. Opens the door for the 15. Here comes Christopher Hockley now underneath the 1 of Locklear. He's clear him. This is all for the battle right now for P6. Chris Griffin, P6. Mickey Sundera, P7. Hockley, P8. And Locklear, P9. Right behind him in P10 is the 14 of Emil Duna leading this group behind him with Brian Torrey and Seth Owens behind him. Looks like they're starting to throw a little bit of bumper tag together. We see the 3 underneath the 74 here. We're going to see these 2 play with each other. As we see the 5 of Grigsby, he saw him get that lucky dog on that last caution. He's trying to get his way back up to the field. We may have 3 wide. Not quite. Grigsby's going to get behind the 74. Torrey's trying to drag air, trying to play with the lines, trying to get the best line for him. He's going to shade the inside to cover it off here. Come back up to get his angle he wants in. There you go. You see him get set up for that corner entry. Grigsby on that higher line. McKinney up there as well. McKinney outside the 3 of Seth Owens. Grigsby's going to get back in line behind the 74. McKinney's trying to clear the 3 here on the outside, and he will as they roll off turn 4. He should be clear. As we see Seth Owens coming to pit road. Uh-oh.
Seth Owens hitting pit road, but meanwhile up front, it's still the 85 of Jason Baker, now with almost a half-second gap over Joshua Baker. But now, who is there? Jesse Sperling. Tony Sibbett says, let's go, Jess. Jesse Sperling underneath Joshua Baker. Kevin Winker in tow. We've got a battle brewing here. About 13 laps to go next time by the stripe here at Indy. Jesse Sperling getting a push from Kevin Winker. Kevin Winker ditches him before the corner. Sperling down low. Joshua Baker up high. Sperling preferred groove. Baker going to try to carry the momentum. Side by side as they head off into turn 4. Jesse Sperling ropes the bottom. Tries to get the drive off. And
Side draft.
Baker.
Side draft.
Sperling side by side.
Side draft him. You got to side draft him. Can't let him get away. You see Sperling right there. Does a great job. Look how close he is there to the door of the 58. Beautiful side draft. That's what he needs. Let's see if he clears him off here into turn 1. Not all the way. There he goes. The 29 cleared the 58. Winker now is going to be on the inside quarter panel of the 58. He's going to try to get himself back up there with Jesse Sperling, keep his hat here in the game. Jesse got what he wanted, but he lost 6/10 there. You can see the gap back out of 1.1, trying to get around the 58 of Joshua Baker, as Winker's now having to deal with the 58 blocking him down the backstretch, trying to shake that draft off of him, not letting him let him get an easy shot around him here. As you see these two continue to battle, Jesse Sperling goes through. You'll see that gap immediately shrink back to a second. Let's see how fast Jesse can reel the 85 back in here as we have 12 laps to go here at Indianapolis.
You know, Michael, one of the things that we've seen here, both in the battle just a little bit earlier when Taylor Locklear gave a push to just now when Kevin Winker gave a push. It's almost like giving a push is a penalty. You give a push, you get the guy in front of you ahead, and you lose positions or you fall back the second that he clears. Kevin Winker now dealing with Joshua Baker for that P3 position. You see a little wiggle out of the truck. These guys are pushing with everything they have. We've seen a couple guys peel off in the background to pit road. Those might have been some of those early stoppers, Michael. They might be on the lower end of that fuel estimation. They might not be able to make it to the end. These guys are going to really have to time things out here as they're going to come around to 11 laps to go next time. 11 laps to go next time across the stripe. Go into lap 90 as we watch the battle for P3. Joshua Baker, Kevin Winker, as they rip through turn 3.
Correct. I did my calculation. We said we can make the stage, and that's on the higher side of around 34, 35 laps. They're burning it quick. You only get 30 to 32 out of it. You're going to be out of luck. You're not going to have enough to get it into this race. You're going to have to start coasting, trying to ride the clutch into some corners, taking some entries in. We see some cars, trucks dancing there in the background of this view. Grigsby back there with this group. We're going to hop back there and try to catch an eye on what's going on back here around there. You see Duna and Grigsby. Right now they're fighting for P9. Emil Duna P9, Grigsby P10. Oh boy, almost had a little bit of contact there with the 5 and the 14. Duna gets back up there for P9. He's going to hold on to it, continuing the log laps here. We saw Duna, talked about him earlier. He started P3 there a couple restarts ago. Grigsby loose out of turn 2 right there. Grigsby is loose all over the place. It looks like that truck is dancing everywhere. Here comes Creech now. He's going to drive all the way down to the grass, come all the way back up, get on the door of the 5. He's going to dive under here. Try to get himself clear underneath, outside the 5 of Grigsby. Not quite clear yet. These two side by side. Duna says, all right, I can get a breather, try to get a little bit of gap before the 62 if he clears the 5 to come after me next.
Duna went by Grigsby, was rub-a-dub-dub. I'm taking this spot and heading to the tub. He's got the spot in front of Grigsby. Now, you saw the 62 of Creech. Creech is 2 laps down, so nothing to lose here for Grigsby fighting Creech. There's no implications if he lets him go. But right now, he wants to reel back in Duna. That's his focus. Duna, again, up to P9. Grigsby, P10. All of this, again, behind our leader, Jason Baker in the 85. Jesse Sperling still trying to track him down. You've been watching the timer on the bottom. We're not going to lose track of what that gap is as you start to see Jesse Sperling able to inch in a little bit on Jason Baker on that clock. Jason Baker levels it off. Sperling chips back into it little by little. This could time out to be a historic and epic finish at the Yard of Bricks.
Yeah, we saw the Indy 500 earlier this year have a last lap, last stretch pass there. We're trying to see if we maybe get the same thing here in these trucks here at Indianapolis. We're going to see if maybe Jesse Sperling can continue to reel Jason Baker back in little by little. You see that gap hanging around a second right now. It's been comfortable, but I still want to see if Jason still has enough tire to hold on all the way to the end. We still have 8 long laps to go here. These laps are not fast to click off. It's still a long way. And those big 4 corners every time is going to take a little bit more speed out of that truck. There you go. You see it now. Jesse's down into the 8s, digging to the 9s. He's starting to close. We're trying to see if maybe he can get it down. If he can get about a tenth a lap around thereabouts, maybe get a second and a half here, a second and a half there. Maybe if he doesn't have quite the best lap, then maybe he got to reel him in. But he's got to start making up a little bit more ground as we start to get towards the end of this race.
Michael, one of the things I'm watching, and one of the things the viewers can watch here with that timer, it seems like maybe Jason Baker's backing up entry. Where Jason Baker loses ground or Jesse Sperling gains ground is on entry. But as we get to corner exit, Jason Baker is able to stretch that back out. It might be that Jesse Sperling's charging the corner more, Jason's letting off earlier like we saw earlier, and is really focusing on that run off. We'll see. Now again, Jason Baker, how hurt is that truck from that earlier contact with the wall? Did he use up too much? Is Jesse Sperling saving just enough? He sees he's within a second. He knows he's got a little bit of time. A little bit of time being 7 laps this time by the stripe. But as you said, that's almost 7 minutes. These guys are running just under a minute a lap here as we get deep into the run. So it's a long time on the clock, but short on the laps.
Yep, agree. You're running out of time. Jesse Sperling's going to maybe try to start shaking it up. He really wishes he had draft help. He still wishes he had Winker behind him, giving him that draft help to really go try to run down Jason Baker. I'm just looking at the last lap times here. We're trying to give him a second update right now. Jason Baker ran a 53.992. Jesse Sperling ran a 54.2. So Jesse Sperling actually 0.3 slower, which I don't quite think is a big, because I don't seem right, because I actually seen him holding steady on that ground. So it should be right around the same of each other. So don't mind my math. I think we both had a little bit of a stumble in our math today, so we're just going to pretend it didn't happen.
Caleb Sibbett doing the Tony Stewart call for Jesse Sperling on Jason Baker. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Jesse Sperling trying to reel in Jason Baker. Again, the field is pretty well strung out. There are some good battles going on, but right now it's all about, can Jesse Sperling reel in Jason Baker here at Indianapolis? We see Baker shake it coming out of the corner. That gave Sperling an opportunity. The gap didn't close a ton, so maybe Baker did that with a high rate of speed, but too many of those are flirting with disaster.
Yeah, you're definitely starting to push him, and the more he slides, the more he's heating up. Look how much ground Jesse drove that corner way hard. You saw him. He got right up there by the fence. He got it down to about 6 cents for a second. I think he had to let off to regather the truck back up. His eyes got a little wide. He sees him dancing. He's trying to get pressure there on the 85. He can just get a little bit closer. What he wants to do is he wants to see the 85 look in his mirror and sees that he's coming after him. As you see, Jesse's actually going to lose a good chunk. He's going to lose about 0.2 there. Back up to 0.9 as we get towards 6 laps to go here. Jesse's running out of time to make moves and make ground on how much he needs here. He's going to roll it back there about 7.5, 0.8. But Jesse Sperling, I don't think he's quite getting the speed he needs. He needs a little bit of help, I think, at this point from Jason. Maybe make a mistake, a little bit of a wall scrub, a little bit of an underdrive or an overdrive to help him out.
One of the things Jason Baker may have in his favor at this point in time is his brother Joshua Baker back there in P3. He's not going to help Sperling draft. He's back there with Winker. He's got his own battle going on. So it really is down to these two. Who can run the most precise laps? A little bobble is all it takes at these speeds to give up a ton of ground. But if they continue to match lap times, you can't pass somebody doing the exact same thing. So Jesse Sperling's going to have to do something different. He's going to have to drive harder. He's going to have to take a different line. Like you said, maybe it is all about getting that closing speed just to make Jason Baker look in his rearview mirror. Jason Baker has owned this race so far. Stage 1, Stage 2. He had to restart Stage 3 after sliding his box. You heard him talk about that. He got the clean air, and here he is again. But now, here's Jesse Sperling, under 0.7. Closing as they go down the straightaway. Oh, and Joshua Baker and Winker get together.
Yeah, you see these two behind, these two making up, but I want to look. Jesse Sperling's closing ground. He all of a sudden just dropped like a rock, the 85 did. I don't know if maybe he got a little bit of wall contact somewhere or something, but Jesse Sperling's down to half a second. I mean, he's made a ton of time there on that last lap. Cut it from about 0.7 down to 5. Let's see if he can get another great run like he had last time. Not quite as good. He's still not close enough for that draft, but he's drawing ever so close. If he can have a couple more laps like that, but he's running out of time. He's got to get in the draft. There we go, right there. I think he's in it just a hair. You can see that time tick down a little bit. I think Jesse's starting to roll into the draft. He's starting to get what he needs. He's got just enough to start to get some air off the back of the 85. Just we thought Jason was pulling away. No, Jesse, a little bit of a slip up there. Lost some ground back at the 610s. Dang it. Trying to see if he can get back there into the draft. Looking behind, you still see Winker stuck behind the 58. And actually, here comes Chris Griffin behind him. Actually going to try to make a move up. He's up to P5. Christopher Hockley, P6. These two here. We're still going to have the ticker down there on the bottom. You'll see Jesse Sperling trying to hold that time. He's got to try to get it down to about 3/10 here with 2 laps to go to probably even have a shot at doing it. As we watch on, Chris Griffin behind the 00 of Winker there. You see Joshua Baker's actually pulled a little bit away from these two. Griffin's going to probably try to set up. He's going to get himself up for a P4. Ooh, big slide there at the 15. Saw him go way off the wall. Not hitting it, but just had to get away from it. As the 12 is going to look underneath the 00. Doing a little bit of a fake move there. Trying to get in his mirror and make him drive somewhere he wants him to go. Going to sit behind here, the 00 as we watch on. They're trying to reel back in Joshua Baker. They might. Jesse Sperling trying to make up a little bit more ground there on the 85.
Waning laps here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You're watching the battle between Chris Griffin and Kevin Winker for that P4 position. Winker draws Griffin down. Griffin says, I'll just keep going down. I'm going to go. But up front, here's the battle for the lead. It's go time. Less than 2 laps to go here at Indianapolis. Jason Baker is getting a load full of Jesse Sperling in his mirror. Jesse Sperling back in that zone, Michael, getting the suck zone as they head down the straightaway. He has the draft.
He's got it.
It's go time.
He's got it. You saw the time hang there in the middle of that back stretch, and that's going to let Jesse Sperling reel back into the 85. He's got time up one great exit. If he can almost do the same that Jason's been doing, get that one exit to time up perfectly with him and get some more of that draft down the backstretch, it's going to draw him right where he needs to be. But I think he's only going to have one more shot to do it here as Jason Baker's going to come around. He's going to take the white flag. We got 1 lap to go here at the Yard of Bricks.
Jason Baker with Jesse Sperling in tow here on the final lap. Jesse Sperling has lost ground in turn 4. That's going to be really important. Jesse Sperling, that is all but going to seal it unless Jason Baker screws up. Jason Baker out in front. Jesse Sperling gave everything he had, gets loose going through turn 1 as they head down the straightaway for the final time. Jason Baker in front.
Jason Baker got away. Jesse trying to get everything he could out of that truck, and the grip on that right rear just gave out right at the last second. Make sure Jason gets these last 2 corners clean, though. He's got to get a tricky turn 4. Don't have a mistake. Don't slide that truck. Here we go. Out of turn 4, holding on to it. The 85 taking it nice and easy. You see him roll out of the corner there. Sperling's last gaps. The 85 side by side, shaking the air off the back there. Chris Griffin. Oh, a little bit of a turn behind, but that doesn't matter. Your winner, the 85 across the Yard of Bricks. He's going to kiss him here in a second. The 85 of Jason Baker.
Jason Baker taking home the win here in the Indy 225. Jesse Sperling hanging on for second after such a hard push at the end. And it looks like if everything will hold, Chris Griffin stealing a top 3 finish. We saw that action. It looked like between Kevin Winker and others through that P3 through P5 battle. So we're going to catch our breath here. You'll get to watch Jason Baker roll around and do his victory celebration. We'll hit a commercial here in just a moment, and then we'll come back with our official finishing order, as well as our podium interviews with the top 3 from Indy.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Indy. What an exciting Indy 225. Let's take a look at the finishing order from tonight's 90-lap affair here in Indianapolis. Jason Baker taking home the win in the 85. Jesse Sperling second in the 29. Chris Griffin rounding out the top three in the 12 truck. Christopher Hockley, Joshua Robinson, Taylor Locklear, Derek Grigsby, Emil Duna, Mickey Sendera, and Bert Wojcik rounding out the top 10.
In P11, you have the 58 of Joshua Baker. P12 goes to the 74 of Brian Torrey. P13, the 00 of Kevin Winker after that last lap spin. P14 goes to the 18 of Jerry McKinney. P15, the 3 of Seth Owens. P16, the 62 of Joey Creech. P17, the 11 of Tyler Spry. P18, the 21 of Stephen Justice. P19, the 26 of Jared Mann. And in P20, the 51 of Patrick Schaefer.
Rounding out the field tonight, the race control of JD Baker. And Michael, the best I've seen you look, I didn't see a single thing from you tonight on the track.
Well, you know what they say. If you're not making news, that may be good news for you.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we'll move into our post-race interviews. First, our P3 finisher this evening, the 12 of Chris Griffin. Chris, what an adventurous night for you, sir. How did all that pan out, man?
What a recovery drive. I mean, I knew I was fast all night. Really unfortunate what happened there in stage one. Derek didn't do anything wrong. Just, I got loose. He couldn't see me. And then I was destroyed. And then, like I said there at the end of stage two, I knew he had speed. I was driving through the pack. I knew the speed was there, just needed some brakes. And then luckily, probably for the viewers and for me, a little bit of a caution fest there to start stage three and got me back on sequence. Made the right pit call to pit at the right time, and then just that long run at the end was great for me. Saved tires. I got stuck behind Mickey for 6 or 7 laps there, which took away my chance for the win. But after being dead last 2 laps down at the end of stage one, I didn't think a podium was on the table. So to get the recovery drive from there to third, I'll take it. I know there was an incident there at the end coming out of 4. I reviewed it. I don't think I did anything wrong. I think it was just 2 trucks going for the same spot, and unfortunate contact there at the end. But again, from dead last 2 laps down to third is that's a good night for me.
A good night indeed, Chris. I actually want to take you back a little bit into stage 3. Shortly after we talked to you, there was a big wreck. A good chunk of the field was caught up in that. Knowing that you had used up, or I'm assuming you had used up your fast repair from your first incident, what are you thinking as that's happening? Because you don't have that in the pocket. Like, you have to get it clean.
I came out of 2. Tyler there gave me the spot on the inside, which was nice of him because he was a lap down and he was letting me go to go race for those guys. And I came out of 2 and all I saw was trucks everywhere. And like you said, I used my fast repair. I knew I had to get on the binders quick. Luckily, didn't get tagged from behind and basically stopped. Like I said, trucks everywhere. There's trucks upside down. There's carnage, and luckily got stopped. Didn't get tagged from behind, and another life.
Another life and a P3 finish. Michael, what do you have for Mr. Griffin?
Mr. Griffin, obviously, congrats on that P3. I know we obviously spoke to you earlier this week. A bunch of y'all were not too fond here of the Brickyard. Obviously, able to scrap your way out here for a good P3 finish. But enough of the Brickyard. Moving on, you got a couple of short tracks coming down the pike. How do you think it's going to play? You think maybe a couple tempers flared here? You maybe think anything coming down the pike for maybe a little bit of contact there, but maybe a little bit of temper starting to flare here in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, you always have that at short tracks. This was one I was looking forward to tonight. Like I said last week, this was I won this race last year, so I was looking forward to coming to Indy. Got a couple of flat short tracks coming up, not necessarily my forte, but we'll put in some laps this week. We'll get faster. We'll work with Duna and Jared and Seth and get some laps in and see how we can run at North Wilkesboro next week.
Had to spoil the schedule ahead, but congratulations, sir. We're going to let you give your shout outs and your sponsor plugs.
Yeah, first of all, Vickers Auto Parts for sponsoring all the stages for us. Duna for the Pole Award sponsorship, and Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill for sponsoring the whole series for us. That means a lot to the series, and I know to you guys as broadcasters, and appreciate you guys doing this every week. And my dad popped in here right as the carnage started in stage 3, so um, appreciate him for watching. He finally got to see me have a good race. Luckily, he missed the part where I wrecked myself. We'll ignore that, but yeah, just thanks to all the sponsors. Thanks to my dad for watching, and appreciate what you guys do every week.
Well, Mr. Griffin, congratulations again on a P3 finish, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, your third place finisher, Chris Griffin. And with that, we're going to pull in our runner up this evening, the 29 of Jesse Sperling. Jesse, congratulations. What a battle there at the end. It looked like you were using up everything you had in that truck. Walk us through what you were thinking those last few laps.
Just trying to get to the back. I know if I could get to the back, I could try packing air or something. It was just so hard. The dirty air was crazy tonight. So I just wanted to get up there and give myself a chance. And right in the last lap, I drove it way too deep into the corner, just trying to gain a little bit to try and set up 3 and 4, and got loose. But man, it was fun. I felt like I had the best long run speed tonight. It just once you got in the dirty air of that truck in front, it was hard to get around.
Yeah, dirty air is so tough on big tracks like this. Jason called out after the second stage that he was the most concerned about you specifically, that you had that long run speed. What was it that was making your truck so good on those long runs?
Well, I was lifting a little bit earlier than everybody else going in the corner, and I felt like that lower line, I would get into the corner a little bit sooner. Everybody else was arcing the corner and going in a little wider, and I would get to the bottom sooner, and that kept me out of the dirty air longer. And I was able to get back on the throttle relatively easily, and I just felt like that paid dividends.
Well, dividends led to a P2 finish. Michael, what do you have for Jesse Sperling?
Jesse, obviously, congratulations. Another week, another good finish for you. Off to a hot start here to the season. How do you kind of keep this momentum going? Just obviously had a bunch of good runs so far this year. How do you try to keep stacking them up and keep going as we head to short tracks coming up here?
I just got to keep putting in the work. I think the short tracks are my biggest weakness, so it's going to be a tough couple weeks, but I'm going to put in the work. Us and the 864 guys, Caleb, Mickey, and Josh Robinson, to try to keep it going, try to keep the momentum up.
Yes, sir. Well, obviously, we look forward to trying to seeing you try to have that long run and that wheeling around the short tracks coming up here. With that being said, we're going to hand over the mic for any shout outs or sponsor plugs.
Yeah, man. I want to thank Jiffy Lube, Mechanicsburg, and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Vickers Auto Parts, my sponsor. Thank everybody that watches me, my mom, my Aunt Lori, my Aunt Lane, and their families. got a little bit of a fan club going now. But I want to thank you guys for the broadcast. Thank Duna and everybody that helps put this league on. It's so fun. And I think that's it, man.
Well, again, congratulations on a P2 finish, Jesse. Heck of a run. Can't wait to see you again next week.
Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Ladies and gentlemen, our runner up this evening, the 29 of Jesse Sperling. And with that, we get to catch up with the man with a lip full of bricks. The 85 of Jason Baker, your winner tonight here at Indianapolis. Jason, clean sweep every stage and the victory, not without some battles, not without some wall contact, but you got her done. I know you were confident coming into this week. What was the key to putting it all together?
I've always ran pretty good at Indy, honestly. It's it's just like it's the patience uh, to to get to the front, and then once you get there, you have to be as consistent as you possibly can and not worry about the rest of the field or I mean, like even Jesse running me down there at the end of stage 2 and the end of the race. I can't be concerned with what's going on with him because then I'm going to start making mistakes. So, and the way the air is, it's horrible. Everybody was complaining about that tonight.
Well, speaking of the air and being patient and not worrying about others, a heck of a battle there with Joshua for quite a while for you to get that clean air back. What were you thinking as you were trying to get back around him and
So,
get to the front?
my thought process at that point, because he said he was about a lap short, and my thought process was I'm going to set him up for the exit and then pass him on one of the straights. But he knows how I run the track, and then we run it the exact same way, so I could never get that momentum coming off of the turn to be able to make it until he made that one mistake coming through two, and I was able to do it. But I wanted to get out in front of him so then he could ride in my draft and save a little bit of fuel. They were going to get to us eventually, but he would have been able to save some fuel and make it to the end and have a better spot than what he ended up getting.
Well, it sounds like brotherly love worked out after all there. He already gave you a shout out in the chat, just so you know.
Yeah.
Congratulating you on a heck of a run. But Michael, what do you have for our winner, Mr. Jason Baker?
Jason, obviously, congrats on the win. I hope the Bricks were happy to see you down there. Kind of a little bit of a piggyback off what Troy said. He stole my question there about your brother. You got a little bit of a wall contact there, trying to get around in there. Did you get any kind of damage for that? Was
Yeah.
that just a little bit? Okay, so
No.
you did.
None. And I was amazed because now that they've got that you can hit a button and your spotter will tell you what your damage is.
Yes, sir.
And as soon as I hit that, and I'm like, damn it, we get to the back stretch and I hit the button and I'm waiting for it, and there was like no damage to report at this time, and I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm not even gonna worry about it.
we were.
I just got beat up in his dirty air there, and there was nothing I could do.
Yeah, so we were watching. Like I said, we saw you kept closing it, kept trying to push to get, like you said, trying to get the line you wanted, and we saw you just get a little bit of
Yeah.
a high arc there, and couldn't figure out. I didn't see any visual damage, but I know sometimes it'll lie to you and have a little bit of wheel damage, even if it doesn't
Yeah.
really have the fender bent.
Yeah, no, luckily there was no damage there because that
Well,
would have ruined it.
well, nonetheless, able to hold on, able to get the win and sweep the race today. Looking ahead, though, good momentum boost here. How you feeling with the next few weeks shaking up for you?
um, I'm not happy about the All-Star race selection. I do not like New Atlanta. I don't care who does. I don't. But we're going to go through a string of tracks that are it's going to take skill to be able to survive and get through, get some good positions, and I'm happy that we're getting into a string of those back to back. Um, but overall, I feel pretty confident. I'm pretty confident going through the season. I
Let's
like all the tracks really, besides Atlanta. I cannot give me old Atlanta 10 out of 10.
Well, I know my partner here beside me maybe disagree with you a little bit there. We're gonna try to make it a little bit interesting for you. But with that being said, sir, congrats on your win. We're gonna let you do your sponsors and your shout outs.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my brother for painting that awesome and badass paint scheme. He got it for me last week, and I had a pretty rough go with it. So I wanted to try to put it in victory lane today, and I was able to do that for him. And thank Jesse for pushing me the way that he did at the end of those runs, because he seriously made me take him out and put him on the dash, and it was a hell of a run. It was a hell of a run. Um, I'd like to thank Vickers Auto Parts and AutoZone of I cannot remember the Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, I think is what it is. Thank them for sponsoring the leagues this year. Um, and then Duna for putting this on. I mean, over the course of the last 2 seasons, he's put a hell of a group of guys together, and it just continues to keep getting better. So hopefully we continue that trend and finish this season out real good and grow and just see what comes next.
Well, I think what comes next is a little bit more celebration. Again, Jason, congratulations on the win here at
Thank you.
Indy. Enjoy the celebration, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you for the broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner here at Indianapolis, the 85 of Jason Baker. Hey, Michael, I'm confused. What did he have in the truck that he's throwing up on the dash? He said that he really thanked Jesse for pushing him. I'm just curious. We'll have to maybe dig into that before next week.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, they have I think they keep a couple bricks in there for the ballast weight, and so he's just trying to get up on the dash to get a little bit more turn on that right front tire up there.
Ah, that would make sense. But, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about it every week. You hear every driver talk about it. This would not be possible without our sponsors. So, one more shout out to our presenting sponsor here in season 6, which is Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania is proud to support grassroots racing and the sim racing community. We provide fast, reliable automotive maintenance to help keep our customers on the road with confidence. From oil changes and inspections to preventative maintenance and vehicle care, we're committed to quality service in the Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania communities. Just like racing, vehicle maintenance depends on performance, reliability, and attention to detail. We're excited to support the HPRL Truck Series and the drivers, teams, and fans who love motorsports. Jiffy Lube of Mechanicsburg and Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Leave worry behind. Well, Michael, Indy's in the books. It's short track time. Let's take a look at our schedule. All right, you heard them talk about it, Michael. One historic track to the next. Next week we head off to Wilkes County and North Wilkesboro Speedway. What do you think we're going to see there in 250 laps?
Well, I think we're definitely going to see a lot of patience run thin. Going from a 90 lap here, where it's a lot of, let's say, not so much little action, but not so much input. You have the long straightaways to think about it, and a lot of draft play here to where you go to Wilkes County where it's super tight. It's going to be a jam packed field, nowhere to go. And if trouble happens, it's going to come real quick. And I think the tempers are going to go right out the window just as fast.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how fast the tempers compare to how fast those laps click off. Again, a really exciting stretch of races here. A lot of short tracks, a lot of historic racing coming our way. And then again, beginning of September, we hit the All-Star race. Apparently, Jason Baker is less than excited than some others, but we'll talk again more about that in the coming weeks. But Michael, as we wrap up here at Indianapolis, any parting thoughts from the 90 laps, 225 miles that we saw on display?
I think we're kind of highlight where we've been most of this season. Another great run there from 29. Jesse Sperling mostly did his thing. Like we usually talk about. It takes his time, running his laps, logging those laps like we talk about. Just finish the races, get the finishes you need. Struggle at a 26 to Jared Man. We saw him dip really early in this race. So it's obviously going to be a little bit of a gut punch there. The points for him. And Jason Baker, another great run out of him. We'll see if maybe he can stack it up. We see a couple of these guys like going to short tracks, and we're gonna have a bunch of them on this schedule. So I look forward to try to see, maybe talk to them throughout the week, see how they're feeling as we head to our first one here at Wilkes, which is really, in my opinion, is one of the hardest ones here on the schedule on that aged surface. So I'm curious to see how they're feeling. I'm trying to get some notes set up here, and we'll be ready to rock and roll next Thursday here at the HPRL Truck Series.
3 races this season, 3 different winners. These guys have talent front to back. Again, if you're looking for a great series to join, feel free to look up the HPRL Truck Series. That's High Performance Racing League. Look them up on Discord. Hit us up in the chat here on the broadcast, or look them up in iRacing. Again, you heard all the drivers talk about such a great group of guys, such a talented group, and such an exciting season. And if nothing else, come hang out with us. We'd love to have you guys here every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. On behalf of Michael, the rest of the Van Broadcasting crew on the air and behind the scenes, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We will see you next Thursday from Wilkes County for 250 laps of excitement. Everybody, stay safe, have fun, and remember, keep it between the lines.